I think we're live. We're live right now. Oh, and you're ready. You got to defend me because I might have made a lot of people mad last time. So I'm glad you got your spear. Let me see if I can fix this. I don't want to be so much bigger than you. Let's see. How does our sound sound, guys? We need a sound check. Say something,
Check,
Benny.
check, 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 check.
You sound good? Let's see. Good enough. Too hot to run dogs. Got an accidental litter. Pups coming. Who all's here? We got 26 people, 25 people. I got flies all over my office here. Louisiana, huh? No. The spear's out. Yeah, Benny's ready. And Chris is running late, but he might join us after a while. He had some business to take care of, so hopefully he'll make it. So we had thought that we were going to we had a topic that we were going to talk about tonight, but we changed our mind because Chris was going to.
I can put my spear away.
No. I might need that here in a little while. We might have some people from California get on here, and they're probably going to try to kill me.
Well, my spear's not that long, Brett.
Well, I don't think it'd take much of one. Anyway, so we decided we just make this an open mic. We're just going to talk. You guys in the chat, ask us some questions. Ask some questions or whatever you guys want to talk about. Just let us know, and we'll get Benny's opinion on it. One thing Benny's he doesn't run short on his opinions.
I've always been accused of people around me knowing where they stand.
Well, I have a lot of those same traits.
Hey, Dylan wants to hop on, and he hasn't filled us in for a month.
Where's he at? Axel. Dylan, do you still have the link? Thanks, Tim. I need somebody got my back. Dang, I got flies everywhere in here. We're still doing that, huh? Who is this?
Bark
what are we still doing, Bark Treed? Don't be so vague. They're scared of mag flashlights in California. Oh my, I stirred a hornet's nest. Oh well. Guys think of the original mountain. What do you guys think of the original mountain cur, Benny?
Which one is it?
The original.
Well, that doesn't tell me anything because I'm. I know that the smaller mountain curs I'm a fan of, not for what I always did, but I'm a fan of working dogs. And our buddy David Heiss had some cur pups, and I gave one to my son-in-law who was a government trapper, and that dog was the smartest, most family-friendly dog that they ever had. And she was half mountain cur and half some other kind of cur, but she was a smaller dog. So, as far as I don't know what I'm like I said, I'm not that versed on curs, so I don't know what's original.
Well, you used them as tolling dog, didn't you? Or isn't that what you messed around with that for a while?
Well, I got some pups from Devin Staker that were supposed to be coyote decoy dogs, and I was hoping to get them that went back to that Wyoming stuff, and these were not. But there's a jackass down here in Lovington. Oh, there goes my attitude, huh?
They're coming right out again.
Perfect.
He's
probably
on here tonight.
Well, good. He can piss up a rope. He can come to my house, and I'll stab him with my spear. He He's supposed to be a highfalutin decoy dog kind of guy in Lovington, New Mexico. He's got his own channel and stuff, and so I
His own
dug in
channel of what?
his own. I don't know. He makes his own calls, and anyway,
Oh,
so I I went over there and I talked to him, and this is when I had that $high dog food too,
oh,
that
that stuff
pizzazz.
I got. Yeah, that was good dog food.
And I made a deal with him to train my two pups, and I gave him a ton of pizzazz dog food up front. I took him another ton later, and I threw in some cash. He was paid um, completely out for this deal, and I never. Not only did my dogs not get trained for me, I never saw my dogs again. He sold them.
He sold them out from under you?
He sold my dogs and claimed that one killed the other and the other ran off. And I found out that he sold one to a guy in Nebraska, and I really struggled. I struggled bad. I was going to have my youngest son fly me over his house, and I was going to send a whole bunch of little balls, kind of like meatballs, raw meatballs, and drop them in the whole area. And he wasn't going to have a dog. I didn't do that. I still regret it. I should have put him out of business and burned him out.
Well, we would have had you'd have had to gone live from prison, Benny.
Well, you know.
It is what it is.
So Tony, if you're out there watching, just know I still hold a grudge, and every time I go past your street, I cringe and want to go over there and stomp your ass.
We're getting kind of rough tonight.
Well, that was you brought up my decoy dog situation.
Oh, brought up bad memories.
I always wanted a decoy dog, but I don't want one. I never wanted one that you had to go to call the coyote in so they could see him. I was introduced to decoy dogs. I went to a trapping school in Broadus, Montana, and that guy had a bunch of decoy dogs, and I'd never heard of this deal. So every morning we'd go out, and he had either a siren or a cassette tape of coyotes howling, and he'd play that PA system on his pickup. And when coyotes howled in the distance, his three dogs disappeared. And the first morning we did this, we're walking over to where two canyons fed into one, and we sat out on this point overlooking the deal. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, where's your dogs?" He just said, "Shh, shh, just watch, be quiet and watch." And pretty soon, here come those three dogs with four coyotes in tow. And every time the coyotes would lose interest, those dogs would charge the coyotes and piss them off. And he brought up his 22 250 and leveled a coyote. The other three ran off. The dogs were in hot pursuit. He started yipping like a wounded dog with his mouth. Arr, 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 arr. And those coyotes turned around on the fight and came back after those dogs, and he dropped another one. And I just thought that was the coolest dang thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Yeah, those remember there was guys used Airedales for that too. That John Henry down in southern Arizona used Airedales for that, and but they called them in first, I believe. And
well, yeah, my dogs that I got from Devin Staker had a lot of Airedale in them.
Yeah, and I mean their instinct is to engage the coyote and try to kill him. But that was when the shocking collars first came out, and I remember those guys teaching their dogs to recall on the tone, and that's how they trained them to toll those coyotes in. Is they would have them come back in with the tone, and pretty soon the dogs figured it out, and it became like a game to them. They'd work, I'm sure you've seen it. They work those coyotes. I mean, go back and engage them until the coyote starts running at them, and then the dog runs and looks over his shoulder, and brings the coyote right to you.
I started drooling with excitement just because I hate coyotes to that level. And so when all that, this guy's name is Craig O'Gorman. I don't know.
I got his book right up here.
Yeah.
What is it called? Something of a woofer. What's it called? Something of a woofer.
Yeah, I can't play. I know what you're talking about, but I I even called over there as a student. There was always you could get a better deal on stuff, and so I called over there and I told Nancy, was the gal that worked for him for decades. I said, "Hey, I need to buy a trained dog." Well, Craig doesn't sell dogs. I said, "Well, tell him to raise 2 pups for me and train them. I'll pay for the whole ball of wax." Well, that could cost $5,000. I said, $5,000 is a drop in the bucket for fun. And so she talked to Craig, and he wouldn't sell me any. And I went down there and bought a pup, and that pup was psycho. We didn't get along. I corrected that pup one time, and he attacked me. So I launched him off my front porch. He
Did
lit
he?
out there in the yard about 25 yards, and after I got him up by the scruff of his neck, I hauled him off and gave him to a friend of mine. But those dogs have a lot of cur in them. Those
Yeah.
particular dogs.
Look who joined us over here.
I see that, Dylan.
Hey
What's up?
guys,
What's up, Dylan?
I'm pretty good.
You got any news for us?
Oh, nothing yet. So,
Nothing. How come?
hanging out. Well, I've just been in a bad place, that's all.
Where's that bad place at? Tell us about it.
Oh, it has to do with a pet. So,
Oh no.
I mean,
Well,
I'm still not too sure what to feel. I mean, he's doing better, but at the same time, he's not really. So,
is it a dog?
no, it's a cat.
Oh no! Don't say that.
I have a dog. I mean, this cat's very special to me. So,
Oh well, we'll grant you that, I guess. What? So how about your hunting? Have you made any steps towards that, or you got anything going
uh,
on?
tomorrow, maybe, if it's not raining, I will be setting up the blind out to the spot where I scouted at.
So do you have a lot of deer coming in by that spot?
I mean, there's deer tracks next to it, so I mean a lot of deer tracks.
Do you get out there early in the morning?
Oh no, I don't wake up that early.
Well, you better start. Just climb your ass out of that bed and get down there.
Dylan, have you taken your hunter safety class yet?
No, I'm still waiting on my friend about that.
What does your friend have to do with it? Y'all gonna do it together?
No, he just wants me to do it because he's old, very old, so he doesn't have to do it.
All right. Did you
I'm
ever
old.
have to, did you ever have to take hunter safety, Benny?
No, I was old enough. I didn't. I'm grandfathered with several ways.
I realize that.
I through it. No, you know what? I did take hunter safety because to hunt out of state, a lot of states require you to have it. So I took my kids and sat through it, and I do. I'd have to get over in there in the safe, but I've got a hunter safety card. Yeah, I did sit in it.
I I took mine back in 1970. I think it was 1973. I had
Right
to
back
take
in
it
the turn of the century.
back when men were men and goats were scared.
There was never a barber in his right mind that came up with a bitch biscuit for a man.
So, you got anything else going on, Dylan?
No, not much. Just been crappy outside.
So, do you go to school?
I go to adult ed.
What does that consist of?
I mean, it's like school, but I only go in for like 2 days. So,
So, you got a lot of extra time. What could you do with your extra time?
I don't know.
Oh,
There
there's
is a problem. That's the problem. Too much sitting around the house.
You got to figure out something you can do. Take up some kind of hobby or something that will keep you busy. Something to keep you busy with your hands and your mind. You know, doing something productive. There's
Hey, I
lots of
know
what?
where he's going to set up his blind. Those deer have trails out through there. He can go get his weed eater out, and he can go out there and swath a 5 or 6 foot wide path on those deer trails and give those deer a little bit more open alley to come to him.
A path.
Yeah.
Do you have a weed eater?
Yeah, but it's
No
not mine.
buts.
It's my
Nope.
mom's.
No buts.
I'm not allowed to touch it though. It's hers. I mean, this thing is expensive.
Ah.
You know what? All you have to do is rent my spirit. You can get her to go weed eat for
Say,
you, and we
Mom,
can direct.
since I can't use the weed eater, you go do it.
And here, let me help.
Well, you Dylan, you're gonna have to go do something. You're gonna have to find something. Just get after it and stick to it. Whatever it is.
I do have a story though.
Oh, let's hear the story.
Well, this happened a couple days ago. My mom was in the garage having a cigarette, and out of nowhere, there was a big bang, right, behind the garage. And this happened last year as well, and we have no idea what's going on.
Just a big, like something runs into the wall or something, or
Yeah, then we go out there, and there's nothing there.
not a thing.
Nope.
We used to call those haints. You got a haint out there.
And get
It's a
this.
ghost.
And get this. At the same time when that happened, the neighbors across the creek over that way, they were shooting at something. So
Oh no. You might have
There's
to.
Did you go and look and see if there was any hair or feathers on the side of the wall?
yeah, there was nothing.
But you got to get out a microscope if you're going to be a detective.
I lost my my fly swatter. My office is right, like right down the road. There is a stinking feedlot.
It's across the interstate, though.
No, it's not.
No?
No, it's right down the road here. It's on the same side.
Oh.
If I leave my door open for just a minute, boy, the flies just invade me. Dylan, go find us some more stories and come back next week.
I mean, I do have another story if you want me to tell it.
Let's hear it.
This happened when I was younger. It was an accident.
I've had some of those.
I was outside messing around with my BB gun, and you know how you tell that story, Brett, about that lion looking at you funny?
Yep.
I had a chipmunk that did that to me, and I ended up shooting it in the head.
That's what, that'll happen when they look at you funny. You just can't help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You still got your BB gun?
No, I gave it away.
You don't have another one. Do you have a pellet gun or anything like that?
Yeah, it's over there in the corner.
Do you shoot it often?
No, because my landlord slash family friend's dog, it doesn't like gunshots at all. So
Pellet gun shouldn't make that loud a noise.
it sounds like a 22.
Does it really?
Yeah.
What is it? A pump where you pump it up, or?
No, it's a break barrel.
All right, Dylan. Thanks for stopping in. Come back again next week. Let us know what we'll have the Dylan report.
That's it.
Let you know how, or you can tell us how you're doing.
Yep.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. We got to. Where's Chris at? How do I? There he is. He had some background noise there, didn't he, Mr. Benny?
Yeah, he did. So Tim wants to know how and when did I get into hounds?
How and when? Oh, Benny was suckled by an old. He suckled an old mama hound when he was born. He was raised by him.
It's like the story of those runaway kids that got taken in by the wolf pack.
That was Benny.
I think I must have been just freshly married. So in the 80s,
Were you
early
12?
80s,
What were you, 12?
no, but my wife was.
Go ahead. I'm
So
sorry.
in the early 80s, I started hanging around with some guys that coon hunted. And so I picked up every dog that I could get a hold of. And we started coon hunting. And, you know, when you get 3 or 4 guys out there with 100 dogs apiece, there's nothing but trouble. And so at some point, I went off by myself and caught a coon. And I thought, well, there's got to be something to this hunting alone deal. And I was trying to hunt coon, and because I didn't know anything, and an uncle of mine was friends with Dickerson, and Dickerson had a sorted past. Let's just say that a little rough.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dickerson and I parted as kids, or young, little older kids.
Explain to him who Dickerson is.
Richard Dickerson is he was now he's not hunting anymore. He was the first and last government lion hunter for the state of Texas. That's all he did was hunt lions with dogs. He was in the Davis Mountains, the Glass Mountains, all of that country down there in West Texas. So before all that, my uncle said, "Hey, aren't you got hounds, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, Dickerson's straightening up his act and he's really struggling. He's got hounds again and he could use a friend." So I started running with Dickerson, and we quit running coon, but we ran bear and deer and javelina and cotamundi, and even with a female dog that he bought from John Clump, we actually caught a couple of lion kittens one day. And I had always wanted to hunt lions, and we hunted Dickerson and I hunted bears, guided hunters, before all of this insurance and Forest Service and everybody got involved. And we had a no game, no pay deal. And there was a guy that we took hunting. Him and his girlfriend came, and they were supposed to feed us. So they brought us a pot of chili beans, about 5 gallons, and they kept it in their ice chest. And every day she'd get it out and warm it up for breakfast, and warm it up when we came in the afternoon, and warm it up for supper. And every time she put it back in the ice chest. And I were getting tired of chili beans like that. And we had a bear jumped, and this guy was horseback, and Rick and I were afoot. And the bear went through a manzanita thicket, and the guy wouldn't go. He didn't want to scuff his horse. So Dickerson said, "Hey, take the hunter back to camp and load him up. I'll go get the dogs, and we're done." And that was the extent of my
That was your guiding experience?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so after that, Dickerson bought some dogs from George Goswick. He started hanging around these other guys, Larry Hendricks and Bill Workman, and all of the big name guys that he could ever hear of. He kicked on their door and said, "Hey." And so Dickerson got real good at what he was doing. But from that point on, I just went to hunting lions, and I started cowboying on the desert with those ranchers, and they all had hounds. And so that's where it all went.
One thing led to another.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I hope that answers it, Tim.
What else do we got in the comment section here? Wayne says he can't believe it's free to watch this. We'll be sending you a bill.
No, Wayne, I don't like the man buns. I don't like skinny jeans. I don't like metrosexuals. I don't even really think too much of men that don't know each other giving them this little cheesy ass little wimpy damn hug. I think that we ought to look each other in the eye and shake our hand and see if we can break each other's hand bones and act like men.
Here you go. He's going to bring some Tennessee moonshine to Young. Would you guys have a flavor you'd like? Benny has to leave the spirit home. Could get dangerous.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know. What kind of flavors are there? I mean,
you come up with something and they make it, Brett.
Really? I don't know. As long as it's not green, because every time I drink that green stuff, I lose my memory. I don't know what that was. That was moonshine, wasn't it, Benny?
Yeah, I think it was.
You didn't participate. That was just me and John.
Yeah, I haven't drank anything for I don't know how long. I really, really have a great appreciation for very stout, very smooth moonshine.
I remember, well, I take a couple of shots of whiskey when I go to the mountains. Is about it. But one time long ago, my brother-in-law was having a house built, and the house was being built by these guys from Mexico, some Mexicans from Mexico. And I went over to my brother-in-law's house, and he said, "Man," he said, "these guys brought this jug of homemade tequila." And it was in a plastic jug. And that was the smoothest stuff I ever drank in my life. And him and I sat there and drank 2 or 3 glasses of that stuff. And I lived just about 100 yards from his house. And this was like at, noon on a Saturday. And I didn't think I was going to make it home. I mean, I stumbled and fell and crawled. And that was with my first wife. It was with my first wife. She didn't like me anyway. And when I showed up crawling through the door, she thought I'd been somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. I said, "Man, I was over at Joe's house." But it was, that stuff tasted like Kool-Aid or something. It didn't have much, you didn't get the kick, it was real smooth.
Man, I'll tell you what, I was 19 years old and my stepdad had been working in Kentucky and he brought home some moonshine and we were sitting around playing cards. And I had a glass of water, or a water glass, and I put 1.5 inches of that moonshine in there. And you couldn't even see that moonshine in that glass. It was clean. And I sipped on it and sipped on it and sipped on it. And I only went through half of that little bit of liquor. And I got up to go to the sink to do something, and I walked sideways at about 48 miles an hour, tipping over. And I thought, dang it. But yeah, the smoother the better, and then that's when it gets more dangerous too.
Yeah, I carry a little flask with me. Well, you've seen it. I carry a little flask with me when I'm in the mountains, and it makes that old ground a little bit softer, and I sleep just a little bit warmer.
on your other channel, when you had your question and answer live, I know I couldn't help it, but I was laughing the whole time just picturing that again. And that was even without moonshine.
Oh, that was straight up sober, doing horse tricks. Colorado Kool-Aid, yes sir. What else do we got? Who else has a question? Did I miss anything? We're gonna have to do. What are we gonna do with Dylan? We're gonna have to get him straightened out somehow. Boy's gonna have to get some ambition.
Dylan needs a job.
He needs some ambition.
Yep. He's sitting around there not doing enough to get any. He doesn't have a purpose, and And men, especially, without a purpose, do not do well in life.
No, that's true. That's true. Oh, how did I get into hounds? When I was a
Accident.
kid. Yeah, well, when I was a kid, they my dad had an Irish setter of all things at his construction yard in town, and had a litter of pups. And they brought me one of those litter pups, or one of those pups home, and it was black and tan and hairy. And my grandpa, or it was my dad or somebody, said, well, I said, what kind of dog is that? And they said, well, it looks like an Airedale. My granddad, I think it was my granddad, said, well, they hunt bears with Airedales. And that just clicked, like, wow, you can hunt bears with dogs. And because I wasn't raised in it or anything, my uncle had taken me coon hunting before when I was a kid in Arkansas. And well, it was even after I had this dog. And then I just got uh, totally fascinated with it. I one thing led to another, and then later on, I had a bunch of Airedales. I inherited a kennel. They were gonna put them to sleep. It was called the Caring Heart Airedale Foundation, and I inherited like 20 something dogs. They were gonna put them to sleep because the old man had a heart attack, and he couldn't take care of them anymore, and so I took them all and started raising Airedales and selling puppies, and it was nothing but work, let me tell you. And this was with my first wife, and she groomed them. I mean, that was one of the deals. We said, well, if you buy a dog from us, you get lifetime grooming. And but what they did, and most people who bought these dogs were real wealthy people, and they would tip exceptionally well. So my wife would groom and get the tips, and then we boarded them. We sell a dog, and then people go on vacation. We had kennels and everything. They'd come and we'd board them and stuff, and it was a lot of work. And then when me and let's see when all that period of time gets a little fuzzy that to me. That was pretty. It got pretty wild times when I was going through a divorce, and anyway, I didn't have a lot of money at all, and there was I seen an advertisement, what we called the Thrifty Nickel. It was just a newspaper. This is all before internet or anything. They had
It was
huh?
it was a New Mexico paper.
Yeah, the Thrifty Nickel. We used to get it, and it's classified ads is all it was. And a guy had a 3/4 Greyhound, a quarter pit bulldog. They were supposed to be coyote dogs, and that dog's name was Tazzy. And I went and bought one of those pups, Tazzy. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't have any money, and I was roping quite a bit at the time, and I was training a few young horses. And I would just go. I don't know if you've ever watched my other videos about the mule. I'd go out there in this desert, out there in the middle of that wide open country, and I would ride those horses and drink whiskey and run that dog. And pretty soon one time I seen coyotes, and I got to thinking about it, and I went and got David Heiss, our mutual friend. And David's a dog man. I mean, he knows where every dog in the country is. And I went and seen him, and he got me a couple dogs, and I got to running those coyotes out there. Man, I would take a saddlebag full of miniatures out there and those dogs, and I'd get on a young horse with either a D-ring snaffle or a bosal, and we'd go across that desert trying to find some coyotes. And I wasn't very successful. I had a hard time, and so then I started calling coyotes in. I would call them in for the dogs to go run them down and catch them, and I'd do that on horseback, and those coyotes were pretty dumb when you were on horseback, and they would come in fairly good, and I always wanted to hunt lions. I mean, that was always part of the bear hunting and lion hunting deal, and I messed with those Airedales, always trying to get them to trail and stuff. But then I caught a lion out there with my coyote hounds, and
David Heiss showed me that tape, and that was far enough back it was on a VHS.
yeah, I recorded it. Dave Carlson, remember Dave Carlson?
Yeah.
Over in Arizona, he used to make those. He would train dogs for people, and he would tape. He had what they called report cards, and he was a lion hunter, and he would record what their dogs were doing and send them these VHS tapes, I guess is what it was, and because it was a long time ago. How long ago was that, Benny? The late 80s, early 90s?
It was probably in the 90s, Brett.
Yeah, something like that. And I got fascinated with him recording it. And I had somebody ask me, said, you know, how do you catch those coyotes with those dogs like that? And I asked my wife, I said, hey, when you're in town, buy me one of those camcorders, one of the, the old camcorders they used to have. And she brought it to me. And that afternoon I went out there, and I would ride around with a Fox Pro call just hanging on the saddle horn, or I'd hang it up in a mesquite tree. And the trick was, it's not like in the Panhandle or in parts of Texas and all that where they have all that open country. We just have spots of open country. So you had to try to lure those coyotes into the open so those dogs get sighted and get on them. And so I had these places where I'd go and I'd set it up. I'd hang that Fox Pro on a mesquite limb, or even leave it on the saddle horn or whatever. And those dogs, God, if you ever watch that video, you can watch that video. It's I think I used to call it Last Hunt of the Year. I got it on my YouTube channel now, but I was riding a pretty nice little young horse too. And anyway, I thought it was a coyote. I was calling. You can watch those dogs. Those dogs got where they knew. I mean, that call started going, wah, wah. And those dogs would just fan out and start looking like that, waiting for a coyote to come. Because a lot of those coyotes wouldn't just come directly in. They'll just cross. They're trying to circle around, get downwind of you to see what's going on. And those dogs, man, they crossed where those dogs could see them, and they would be on them. And I was doing that, and the dogs, they caught sight of something. I never seen it, and they took off after it. And man, I could hear them fighting it, and I was running through the brush with that young horse. That horse is jumping the mesquite, and I'm videoing. I mean, it's pretty cool, really. And then I get there, and it's a lion. I thought, dadgum, that's a damn lion. And so I shot it. And then I went with a friend of mine, Greg Ball. He had a hound that he got from Rick Dickerson, Benny, yeah. that Maze dog. And we went up there on a friend's ranch. They had a lion track, and we went up there, and we got that dog on that lion track. And he went down to get his tracking back to his beep beep thing. And that receiver, those old, I think it was Quick Track, I can't remember what it was. It's like carrying a banana crate with you. And he went down there to get his tracker, and I stayed with that dog on top of that mountain. And I remember just watching that dog cold trail that lion, thinking, this is the funnest thing I've ever done in my life. It's just, golly, she would go and she'd smell those rocks, that tail going like that, boom, and then she'd go about 10 or 15 feet up there, and I mean that's lion. I mean, this was a jumped lion just about, and it was still cold trailing on that in that kind of country. I mean, it wasn't that easy, and we trailed that lion all the way up across the top of that mountain, and we got off on that edge, and I said, that lion, and it's fairly open country. I said, well, shoot, we ought to be able to see that lion out through there somewhere. And I was climbing all over those rocks, man. I had blood in my eyes. I was wanting to kill something. And I was climbing all over those rocks, and I climbed down below, and I heard like that. And I looked up, and that lion was in a crack right above my head. And he hissed at me like that. And it kind of ruined me. And then I bought that dog from Riley Miller, and then it was downhill ever since. But still, to this day, there's nothing that I enjoy more than when those dogs hit that track, and you see them start whipping that tail, and they're just working on the ground. Then that one dog goes up there and goes, oh, like that. Man, you go up there and you look, and you can find a lion track. It's just like, oh my gosh. And then you trail him, even if you don't catch him, which is terrible. It's hard to catch them in this country, but just trailing them is just amazing, seeing where they travel.
For me, Brett, there's only one thing that makes it a half a notch better than that story right there. Is before they, when they're whipping that tail, and you can tell there's some scent that there's just not enough, and when they lay their tongue on it,
Yeah.
I paddle and go, oh.
I know. It's amazing. It's amazing to watch them do it. It's fun. And then, when you do catch one, it's just to look at, 120-pound cat, and it, to think that there's that big of a cat that wanders around out here. It's, I mean, they're so, and they always, most of the time they just kind of act like you're just like a bug bothering them, They're not.
So, Brett, I see there's a guy named Les Peterson. All I want is hounds because I hunted with Keith Wilkerson and I was hooked. So we both know Keith and we
Yeah,
know the people he hunts with.
You can tell Keith that I know Keith, and you'd probably have a lot more fun if you weren't hunting with Keith.
But what I was
That's a joke. That's a joke, people. Keith's a good guy. He's a real good guy.
He is, and he's a real grouch.
He can be grumpy.
But if he really wants, I don't know how old Les is, and I don't know how serious he is. I don't know if he's where he can go all the time, if he's doing, but Missy hunts with Keith, and Missy absolutely would help somebody get going.
Oh yeah. Me and Keith, I got another good story of hunting with Keith Wilkerson. I had that first pack of dogs I had, and we were out there, we were hunting for several days, and first day, or no, it was the second day we were out there, and I had a big old white dog, and I really liked that dog. He could really trail, or at least I thought he could really trail. And we'd made a big old circle, and we had hit a lion track, and all the dogs were trailing one way, and old Bo went over there off to the side. Whoa, he opened up over there, and I thought, well, Bo's got that track over there, and those dogs, all the other dogs are going that way. He said, what's that dog doing? I said, I don't know. I think he got the track. Watched for a little while. He said, that dog's trying to pull these dogs off that track. He said, how old's that dog? I said, well, he's an old dog. He said, no, he said he's trying to pull those dogs off the track. He said, you better not ever hunt that dog anymore. Don't hunt that dog again. He said, he's messing up all your dogs. Man. Next morning, I left poor old Bo at home, and me and Keith were driving down the road there, and I had my head hung. And he said, what's wrong with you? I said, well, Keith, I said, that old dog. I said, you might as well have told me you seen my wife coming out of a motel room with another man. I said, that's how bad it hurts me leaving that old dog at home. I never hunted that dog again, though. Never did. He died in my yard. He never went out again. But he was. And after he told me that, I remember thinking back how that happened lots of times before. He got old, and he's kind of senile, and then he couldn't keep up or anything, so he would just try to pull all the dogs to him. And
well, and Brett, where would you have been if Keith wasn't just straight up with you?
Oh yeah, you learn something from everybody. Keith, Orville Fletcher, I got to hunt with Orville, and hunting with Benny, and then hunting with everybody. You just pay attention and listen to them, and try to sort things out in your head. Just hunting with John Clump last time I was out there. I kind of had an idea my dogs were foxing on me. I didn't know for sure, but And he said, oh, those dogs are lollygagging. But that was good.
Yeah, he's but as far as Missy, golly, I can't think of her last name right now. Anyway, she has a ranch over there in Mule Creek, and her and Keith are around each other. They hunt together all the time. And if somebody's worthy, Missy would help.
Yeah, I don't know what her last name is now.
I've got it in my phone.
But is that what you're doing your live show with?
Yeah.
Don't mess it up.
No, I'm not going to look. I'm looking for a piece of paper. I should have a yellow piece of paper with a bunch of names and addresses.
I'm killing flies here, guys. What else do we got? Chris said he'll be on here in 20 minutes. Better have a good excuse.
Yeah, I don't know where my list is. My first wife might have filed it for me. But, you know, my deal, I had an uncle that had blue ticks and Airedales and blue tick and Airedale crosses. And those were he hunted bears. And I thought when I was a little kid, man, don't get around those dogs. They kill bears. and I always thought, how awesome would it be to take on something that could kill you back?
Yeah. Yeah, no, hunting predators. That's and that's funny. I've hunted deer and I've shot some deer and I've never killed an elk. I've hunted elk a couple times, but I've never been that interested in it. It just doesn't do anything for me. Matter of fact, hunting just about anything without a dog doesn't do anything for me. I need to have a dog, and that's what makes it worthwhile for me. Makes me interested.
Yeah. I appreciate working dogs. I would love to see a dachshund go down a badger hole and bring the badger out.
That'd be cool. What do we got here? Hit a penny. That was 10 minutes ago. Okay. Now that was probably 5 minutes ago, so you better be getting on here pretty soon, Chris.
Well, if there's not going to be a bunch of interaction, let's just go back to your previous topic that you said we were going to cover. I got my spear sharp.
We better wait for Chris. I kind of bounced it off him, and he was kind of excited about it. I feel obligated. He's the guy who does all the organization for me and everything. I'm not very organized. And then I say things I shouldn't say, and I make people mad. So he's a little more politically correct than I am, I think. And you're worse than I am.
Well, yes and no. So it just depends.
Depends on the topic.
So, Mr. Arnsberger, we should get him on.
Benny, that's what basset hounds were bred for.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Get a move on, Chris. Oh, gee, there's your neighbor.
Yeah, and we could get him on this next deal because he doesn't do anything, period, nothing. Even in the gray area, he's a complete law-abiding, following kind of guy.
And you guys are friends?
He's the young man. He doesn't really know me too good.
There you go. My dad hunted with Warner Glenn quite a bit. I would sure like to hunt with Warner. Oh man, me and you both.
So I talked to Kelly Friday.
Damn flies.
Kelly and Mackenzie were headed to Santa Fe for a big party for a retiring game warden on Saturday. Some Eric guy that they had worked with on their bighorn sheep lion killing over there in the Palencios. And so she told me, she says, well, we talked to Dad about coming and doing all this. And he said, you girls probably should make that trip to Santa Fe. They went over there Friday, had the party Saturday, and drove home Sunday. He said, I'll probably just be content to stay here and do the chores.
There it is. The first annual Hound Hunters Rendezvous for Arizona. 24th of August. Reynolds Creek Campground. I've never been to Young, Arizona, so I don't even know where it's at. I have to get directions at some point. In the cool pines.
It's just when you're coming from your side, Brett, you go past Forest Lakes, and there's a turn on the left that says Young, and you take off down that road, and it's dirt, and it's a weird deal. It's always been this way. It's dirt on both ends and pavement in the middle. It's the weird little deal.
That's all fine and dandy if I knew where Forest Lakes was.
Well, you'll run onto it, and if you get all the way to the Mogollon Rim and you start to fall off, you've missed the turnaround.
Well, where am I going? Where do I get to Forest Lakes?
Like you're going to Payson.
Oh, okay. That helps.
You got to go through Chris's neighborhood, so
okay.
You'll go to Springerville and Show Low and.
Oh, okay. I've been through there before. And there's the bear season's going on, lion season going on, and everything.
I think it starts right. Yeah, starts right in there somewhere. I don't know.
I might take my buggy.
That's fine.
Is it a lot of roads and stuff?
Arizona is the most side-by-side off-road vehicle friendly state in the nation.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, let me tell you about my dog box now. Okay, first place, it took me a year to get it. Second place, it cost me a whole bunch of money. Third place, got here, none of the mounting hardware was correct. We had to re-drill it all. And the tail lights don't work. Old South dog boxes, guys. I give them a thumbs down. It is a pretty dog box, though. My gosh, it looks nice. It's good. And then the bubble comes up.
Yeah, look what 2 thumbs down does.
That's so So yeah, I mean, it is a nice dog box, but geez Louise. There you go. Benny's playing with his iPhone. That's funny. Yeah, so we had to re-drill it. See, I gave a kid, a friend of my grandson's, I gave him my old dog box, and it was a fairly nice dog box. It just wasn't big enough for me, for my dog, for many dogs as I wanted to haul. So I wanted a flatbed dog box, and Houndsman XP, you know, I listened to them, and they were being sponsored by Old South dog boxes. So I thought, shoot, I'll just call them, see if they'll sponsor me and give me a good deal on a dog box. And I seen their stuff on Facebook, and I thought, man, they make good stuff. And yeah, so that's the story.
You're not law enforcement.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no.
And so you got to, you know, yeah, you got to. You don't get free donuts. You don't get quality dog boxes in a short time. There's a lot to not being Leo.
Well, they told me, they said, because you are we sponsor you, or because you're a partner or whatever. They gave me $500 off is all they gave me off. I mean, it wasn't no great sum of money. I would have paid another $1,000 to get it here when it was supposed to be here. But they said, and that just knocked me to the ground. Said, well, because we sponsor you, we put you at the end of the line. I said, man, you know, I got a lot of people listen to me. Do you not care about that? They said no. They didn't care.
Here's your opportunity, Brett. Off the record, at Young, Louisiana Hunting will be there. He said he hates it there from Louisiana, So you can make a deal with him, some off the record deal, and he can put some gators in their shop.
Go transplant some gators in their shop. I just couldn't believe it. I thought, man, why do that? Or at least make up a good excuse, you know, just say, oh man, we lost your order or something, or we couldn't get a Can-Am to make sure we get the right measurements or something, you know, some kind of good excuse, and just said, instead of just saying, we put you at the end of the line, like, man, you're not important at all. We don't care anything about you. All right, I'm sorry. Les Pearson's, oh, it's a young man. I would get some hounds, but I'm 14 and my dad says we have enough cow dogs.
You know, that's the kind of kid I need to come live with me and be quiet, and I'd get hounds again, and he could inherit a pack of dogs worth $100,000 when I quit again.
And then he could go, you guys would go drive around, and when those dogs get off, you'll say, go see what those dogs are barking at.
Absolutely. And he would know exactly how to be successful undercover.
He'd learn all the tricks of the trade. Those young legs, that's like Orville Fletcher told me that time. We were looking for that lion that they'd had a lion that had a tracking collar on it. Yeah, big old Tom, and they'd lost signal from him. However, they had the location of the last signal, and I think they thought I had something to do with it because I was living up there and I had all those dogs, and so I went with yeah. So we went.
Thanks,
We went. There's not many people that would, Calvin, for numerous reasons.
Go ahead, Brad. Go ahead.
But anyway, we were there looking. After he'd chewed on my ass all day long about different things. He's a lot grumpier than Keith is, and we were way across this canyon. There's a big old cave on the other side of the canyon, and that's where they'd lost the signal of that lion. Was on the other where we were. And he looked over there and he said, "Why don't you run over there and look in that cave? Make sure that lion's not in that cave." I just kind of looked at him. Well, you've been up there, Benny, haven't you? You remember that cave that's clear across that canyon, that great big cave? Yeah. I just looked at him. He said, "Come on, go check that cave."
and you were young at what, 45, 50?
Yeah, I wasn't that young. And so he said, "I'll hold your mule for you." And I took off and hiked my hind end across that canyon, up that other side of that mountain, went in there and looked around. There was no lion. But I remember him saying, "You just go on.
Yeah.
What else, guys? I went live last night, and I wonder, we got some questions. I could do that. Let me see if I can pull that up. See what kind of questions we got on this other channel. I made Chris manager of this YouTube channel we're on, and he's supposed to be taking care of all this. Hooray, it's your channel's birthday. You've come so far. Just imagine where you and your community will be next year. Keep doing you. Okay, comments. Okay. This question is from Rooster 9190. And it's with when we were talking about who's at fault, the dog or the handler. This was when Cody King said, would you ever breed to Willie as good as you say he is, because you know he is not out of cat dogs? We can't answer that because we don't know who Willie is. What happened to Monday Night Live? Oh, that was because I said something wrong and I deleted it. Y'all need to get not normal adventures on here. I'm sure you have seen him. I haven't seen him. You're not listening to us. Ooh, sorry. That's a problem with YouTube. You get all these goofy comments.
Les, if your dad was a houndsman, he would have lion hounds that worked cattle and hunted lions. But I'm not. Don't let me stir up any dynamics.
All you need is one good cold trailing hound and those cow dogs, and they'd catch on probably pretty fast.
Yeah.
What's
I
up,
got plenty
Christopher?
of trashy dogs from a rancher. Said they wouldn't quit chasing bobcat.
So did they let you out, Chris?
Yeah. Yep.
How much did it cost you?
6-pack. Damn green jeans. They can't catch me.
They can't catch you. Just
Yeah, I
took you a
took the
while.
back road.
Took you a while to evade them.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to make more lefts than rights. So I got out of there. Can't catch me on that golf course. Wayne.
So what's going on? Tell us what have you been up to besides killing elk on the golf course?
Kids, school stuff. Kids are starting school Wednesday. So I'm up in my office. I'm not in my little crappy trailer, and I might have to put a hoodie on today.
Really?
Yeah, it's nice up here. What is it? It is 80 degrees right now, cloudy in Sholo.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, real nice today.
It's going to start cooling down around here probably about a week and a half. I mean, it'll stay cooler longer in the morning. The
nights will start dropping. You'll be able to drink coffee on the porch in the morning.
I drink coffee on the porch now.
Well,
right before the sun comes up, I sit out there and drink my coffee.
Man, I've been cowboy quite a bit lately. I even started drinking it little. I make such good coffee.
And that's what I went to. They call it Old Timers Day, and it's a class reunion really for our class. I graduated in 1979, and all of us were, a lot of us go back and see each other every year. And of course, you get to our age, everybody's talking about the sicknesses they've had and the operations and everything like that.
All the ailments.
Yeah. And big thing was about how, I'm not I don't have any addiction problems with the exception of caffeine. I have a hard time quitting caffeine. I could drink a beer, drink, some whiskey or whatever, and then go for months without having any. It doesn't bother me at all. But, Copenhagen. If I was to take a dip of Copenhagen, I would be hooked again because I dip the heck out of that stuff.
I can smoke a cigar every day, sometimes two, for 6 months straight, and then just decide, I don't want to smoke them no more. Like I haven't smoked cigar. I buy those big packs. I had back at 20, and man, I still got a bunch left. I just haven't smoked them. Used to smoke one. I just went through a stage. I smoke one every day on my way home. If I'm driving and I start falling asleep, I'll light one up.
Oh, yeah. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Yep.
We smoke cigars up there. This friend of mine, he had the, what do you call it, a humidor and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He kept them in, and matter of fact, he gave me a couple. And, they're some really good. He says he's going to send me a pack of them. And
just if you don't have a humidor, just throw them in a Ziploc bag and put a little moist, like a wet rag in there.
That'll keep them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you keep them in the refrigerator?
Yeah, you can. I guess some people do. On my trailer, it's hot as heck. So when I open my humidor, I can feel, because it's at 80. I keep it at about 80%, and I can feel that humidity come out. Yeah. But I have to. It's so hot down there in my trailer. I have to. It's only got part of it air conditioned off, so it's colder. But I take a spray bottle and I'll fill up my little humidifier cap, and then I'll spray the whole box, mist the whole box with a spray bottle, and shut it. Okay. And you go back the next day and it's dry. The box is dry. So, and then I got a little travel one. You can get them on Amazon, like $15, and it has a little humidor thing in there. And you just put a little water in there. And if it's really hot, I'll kind of dump it in the styrofoam. But I've had them too wet before. They're hard to smoke. But I like mine a little bit wetter. Wetter the better. I've always said. 9 kids later. There goes Brett. There goes Brett. Ran him off. I only not even been here 5 minutes. I had kid stuff to do tonight. Go meet the teachers. Telling my kids. There's one paper that said, "Explain your kid's personality." And I said, "Didn't you have him in third grade?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "So you know he's a butthole?" She said, "Yeah." So then I don't need to put it down. USDA and the same border collie. Oh, Brett got something important.
These ones here, let's see. Taubac Especial.
So if I'm smoking, like my favorite cigar is a Fuente, the Fuente, and they're just little stubbies. And I've been through a lot of cigars. I'm not no cigarpreneur or nothing, but I like the Fuentes. They're mild. I don't like them real hard, make you feel like you just took LSD cigars.
Well, that one that I smoked, it's one of these.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's dark. It's dark, ain't it?
Yeah, and but it's real sweet. The end, and to chew on it, it tastes really, really good. And Bo told me, a friend of mine, Bo, he told me, he said, well, I said, man, I'm getting kind of lightheaded. He said, well, you're swallowing that. He said, you're swallowing that juice.
Yeah, you're not really supposed to inhale, and
I don't inhale, but it was just swallowing the juice, I guess. Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Chewing on it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a Copenhagen guy.
Yeah,
I'll get my teeth sunk in where I got a good palate in there of where my teeth are going to be, and I'll keep it there, and kind of where I like it. But I hadn't really smoked a cigar, not a whole one, and I don't like them real dark ones. I feel like those are the ones that put your wiener in the dirt. So
that's a good one right there now.
But I honestly, I think I like smoking a better. They got so many good tobaccos out there, and I'll get that honeymead tobacco, or that, they got some really good sweet tobaccos out there that are, it's more aromatic than it is nicotine addiction. So.
Yeah, I like my pipe when I'm up in the mountains, when I sit by the fire. I mean, to me, I don't know, it's real relaxing.
We can't get.
What are you grinning about, Benny?
We can't get Benny to pass the doobie anyway, so he just holds it to himself. So we have to smoke cigars.
It is. This one's good.
Just nothing.
I have cigars in my truck, but I don't want to walk out there and get them.
I'm not going to smoke much of this one. I just wanted, once we got to talking about it, I wanted to try it. So.
Yeah, you need to put those, not just leave them out. They'll get dry quick.
How about if I put them in the freezer? Will they still get dry in the freezer?
Probably not as fast as leaving them out. You just take a little Ziploc bag and wet down a napkin and throw it in there.
Paper towel or something put in there. That's what I'll do.
Yeah. He is undercover. Who's undercover now? Brett? Brett's undercover.
I'm not undercover. Not me, Mr. Benny. So what did you do this week, Chris?
I wasn't supposed to be at work. I kind of got kicked off the job because of my charm. But the owner is just as charming as I was. And then when they said, "You're done, we'll call it then. If they don't want you there, they can handle it." I didn't go in Friday because I had those hound trials. And the project manager got called, and no cigars in the freezer.
Yeah, why is that, Blackbeard? I'm a new cigar. I'm a rookie cigar smoker.
I figured you'd probably rather have them in the fridge or freezer than leave them out, because you're arid. You're dry out down there.
Oh man,
your humidity's 15%. It'll suck that cigar dry.
Oh, I think it's not even that high.
Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't go on the Friday, and he got a call, got chewed out, and the guy told him, "Hey, you said you didn't want him there." He said, No, I'm just an asshole sometimes to him, but that's just how I am. So I went back and we handled stuff, and I was really happy to come home. I'm in my office now. I got an air conditioner in here. fan. I got room. I can stretch out, lean back. I'm not all huddled up in a corner with the AC blowing on me. F Phoenix. F that desert down there in the winter, in the summertime. It's like a woman you divorced that you have to live with. The winter's like a mistress. Nice to you.
Yeah,
Right, Benny?
I can't wait until it cools off here. I mean, just
I missed my opportunity. I could have had you bring my razor from Glendale back up to Solo.
Oh man, I'm going back down. I'll be down tomorrow, and I'll probably come up either Thursday or Friday. I can run over there and grab it, throw it on a trailer. Is it on a trailer or no?
No, I didn't leave the trailer there.
Yeah, I got a trailer. It's not a big one, is it?
It's a 4-seater. You got to have a 14-foot trailer.
I think my dad has one. Little 2-axle trailer just for those. So, does it got the key in it?
Huh?
Does it have the key in it? Well, hell.
I got for Les Peterson. Is your dad Ace?
yeah, Ace Peterson.
I think he said that he lives 40 miles from Palin Seals. Why doesn't he? He's related to Clump because his mother, if Kay is his mother, then she's a Clump. Then why doesn't he just go hang out with John?
Don't be doing no gold mining with John. That's my gold mining buddy. I'll put a whack down on somebody. When it cools off, I'm headed south with my gold pan, my pick. Of course, John probably go out right now.
John's spending a lot of time over on Eagle Creek. They can't get all their cows worked.
He might just repo it, Benny. I'm here from Solo.
He's an old time repo man right there.
Yeah, but there's nothing to repo. You mean confiscate it, steal it, take off with it?
Did you have
borrow it?
Did you have him rebuild it or something, Benny?
Yeah. I had some guys in Mesilla put an engine in it, and they did such a sorry job that it only lasted a year. And so I took it to my cousin's son and said, "Here, just do whatever it's got to get done and do it right."
Wayne says he'll send his daughter to help you, and she's put collars on live coons before.
I saw that he asked me if I've ever wrestled a bear, a cat, or a coon, and I don't know what you consider wrestling. I still have a scar on my thumb where a coon took the skin off from right there. Where is it? Right there up. And I had to put that sucker in a glove and weld all day like that. I had a bobcat by the tail, dragging it backwards, and I've been in the tree with a bobcat, hitting him with a stick while he was trying to get on me. I've been in the tree with lions several times. I had a lion on the ground that had a hold of one of my dogs, and I stomped it on the neck. And I punched a bear right in the back end.
Oh, he's coming down.
Yeah, he was. So
I did that.
That's really wrestling, but I have had a little bit of adrenaline-induced hand-to-hand combat.
I've had some of that, but it was usually Mexicans late at night in bars.
You ran around with Mr. Perez. Out of a little bit of trouble.
It wasn't Brett's fault though. It was probably them guys.
Always.
Brett was probably just sitting there minding his own business.
Minding my own business. Kicked my feet off the. You know how those bar stools, they had the ring where you put your feet on it, and I had my feet on the ring of the stool next to me, and the guy came in. He was a big old boy too, and he kicked my feet off that that ring, and that's when all the trouble started.
You were Lord of those Rings.
I just that was back a long time ago. So what did you do? We never got what you did all week, Benny. Did you have anything interesting happen?
Well, I took my first wife to Lubbock. We spent 2 days over there. When they, when she was coming to, they had her knocked out, and when she was coming to, she was extremely entertaining. Oh my gosh! Even the nurse
Oh,
poked her head in there to see what all this commotion was about, and she said, the nurse said some kind of goofy comment like, "I had another old couple that had been married forever in here, and they were a lot of fun too." I thought, well, it's only because of the way you guys gassed my wife, but you know, she came out of that deal and got a clean bill of health, so she's not as nervous as she
Oh,
was.
good.
Um, that was Tuesday. I don't know what I did Wednesday. Thursday, I hauled a beef to Seminole, Texas, and left it to get a tent cut off. And then Thursday night, I was in Roswell looking at a food trailer. I'm leaning towards buying a food trailer and working 2 or 3 days a week selling a hot dog or something.
I know
Friday,
no. Good. Let's go back to that.
topless.
In your speedo,
Yeah. You're going to call it the hairy man hot dog.
Harry Man's hot dogs.
Yeah.
No, let's go back to that. No, you're gonna do what? You're gonna buy a food truck, one of those roach coaches,
yeah,
and where are you gonna sell them at?
Wherever you can
I don't
park it.
know. Yeah,
You got to do those events. We used to make $1,000 a weekend with. I have a little hot dog cart, just a little one. You hit those auctions or you hit any of those stuff.
Did
You just
you
get
did that too, Chris?
yeah. Well, I honestly, if I think I just telling my dad last week. I said I'd like to open a biscuits and gravy horse trailer. That's all you have. Serve it from 5 in the morning to 10. Park somewhere. Have a big 30-foot horse trailer. Have all your grill in there. Just make all kinds of biscuit and gravy.
Well, burritos. I mean,
Everybody makes burritos. This is
everybody.
Arizona. There's a girl on my road on my way to work. Sits in her little RAV4. Has a sign right on the window, burritos. Sold
yeah.
out every day.
Used to be a guy
It's not even.
walked around down here. Or he had a bicycle, had a big basket on the back and a cooler, and he hauled burritos around all the construction sites.
Yeah.
But really, let's
right.
get back. Let's get back to Benny. Benny's scaring me here.
Grand opening, Young, Arizona.
Yeah, you could.
There
Don't
you go.
don't wear your speedo. We don't need that.
Yeah, it's a no burn season. You want your hair starting on fire in the back.
I built a big fancy smoker years ago. When I had trucks, we built it in the shop, and I used to go out and hire out and sell brisket and pulled pork and turkey legs and go to events and stuff. It was just for fun, and we, you know, and then my wife and our two sons went to Africa one year, and it cost $22,000 for the four of us to go to Africa. And so to earn money, we cooked in the oil field. And if if we cooked 3 meals a day, we only did it one day a week. If we did that, we could cook lunch and supper 3 days a week. But when we did all 3 meals, we'd start at 3 in the morning and make burritos and get all. And I was welding back then, and so I always said that I had the most expensive food warmer in the oil field because my $15,000 welder was how I kept the food warm going down the highway. Had it all into that. We'd start at 3 in the morning and we wouldn't get done with everything cleaned up and put away till almost 11 o'clock at night. So we were pretty shot. So we did try not to do 3 meals a day, but the days that we did 3 meals, we cleared $1,800.
No kidding. And a lot of that's cash.
Well, for that it wasn't, because
Not
I ran.
not these days. Everybody has a phone. You can just swipe your card on your phone these days.
Then years later, I got asked to help put a farm auction together for a friend of mine that had died several years earlier, and then the auctioneer said, "Hey, do you know anybody that will sell some burgers and dogs and drinks during this farm auction?" I said, "Yeah, we'll do it." And so I got my wife and I and my son and daughter-in-law next door, and all we did was grill burgers and hot dogs and sell drinks. And we ended up paying for, after we got all the supplies paid for, and we only used 50% of the supplies. And on that Saturday morning, above and beyond, we cleared $850. And
My
that was all.
gosh. Well, with all this, why'd you quit doing that?
I just, it's not anything that I ever did completely. And so, I'm thinking about things that I can do 2 or 3 days a week and make a little loot on the side that my tyrant governor doesn't have to know about. And so I thought, I ought to just get me a little food wagon. And so I've been looking, and my daughter-in-law said, well, maybe we should do that together because she's not working. And she says, you're going to need help. So that's how this deal started. I've been looking and looking, and we thought we had a trailer bought in Roswell, but as much as I'd like to help that young couple out, it's not feasible for what I want to do. So I'm kind of leaning towards just building my own.
Yeah. If you could find a good welder.
Well, if I could find a good welder and somebody that doesn't mind working in the heat and they don't like to
Don't
sit up late in the morning drinking coffee, and you know, but that person's got to be out there somewhere.
I can see Benny walking up with his spear, poking the guy in the butt, like on what's that old Kevin Costner, Dances with Wolves?
Yeah.
You poked me in that butt with there, you.
Huh. Well, that's amazing.
There's money. There's definitely money in it because back in the day, I was in the 2000s. I mean, if you did the math, we did a thing. It was $5. You got a hot dog, soda, and chips, and you had about $1.50 into that.
What
You know,
about permits, regulations, and licenses
food,
and stuff like that?
food handler license. That's all you need is food handler license.
In the state of New Mexico, you go through the environmental department, and they have to inspect your facilities, and I have to take it to them for the first inspection. They want to make sure that it is mobile, and so I used to just get temporaries, and it didn't cost anything. To get an annual license that's good statewide, it costs $200, and that's just for New Mexico. And somebody has to have a food handler's license that you get that online. I don't know how much that costs, but all of that stuff, it's no big deal. My biggest problem is I'm not going to build a smoker big enough. I'm not going to build a wagon big enough to have my smoker tied to it. So I have to
Pellet.
get a permit where I can smoke off of the premises. But I have to have, well, I looked into that, and I have to have the the food trailer at the same location as the smoker when I'm smoking. They don't want you cooking the meat and then going down the road with it in your car 50 miles and let it cool off to room temperature. Just weird stuff. I don't know. People getting around any smoked meat. You got it encased in smoke. It's already full of carcinogens. It's not going to hurt it. But I've also got what is that? I think it's a 75-gallon pot we're building to make jambalaya. So we can make enough jambalaya. And Brett, you've seen my smoker trailer, haven't you? The yellow one?
I think so. One time I did.
And I've also you've seen my big disc. I've got a big disco that's 30-inch diameter. You could put 5 or 6 goats on that disc and not fill it up.
Colo de Pago. I remember there were some bear hunters up here that when I was working out at Holloman Air Force Base, I used to stop and drink beer with them, and they would, in that big old disco, they called it turkey tails, and I think it's colo de pago, and they cook those turkey tails and have jalapenos and onions, and man, it was good. These guys were wild as they came too.
I got a good bean story. We were hunting 6A over there, Happy Jack, and we were elk hunting. Kind of late. We came in late. We used to leave before dark on our horses, come back after dark on our horses. And I had a pot of beans that I make, and we just keep heating them up every day, and stir them up. Make sure you don't see the mold, whatever's in there. But those beans will turn kind of gray after 3-4 days. And this guy was walking by, and it was dark, and he just come walking by the road, and I said, "Where are you going?" He goes, "Oh, my camp, it's over right here." And I said, "You need to go that way, not that way. You're going the wrong way." Yeah, and I said, "Man, we got some food. You want some food?" "Oh, yeah, I'm starving," and blah, blah. I opened those gray beans, and I said, "Yeah, I got some beans here." And he said, "Well, I got a granola bar, and I'm pretty sure I'm not too far away." And I took up all those beans and ate it, and so I don't know. Maybe I've been lucky and just haven't got. You heat anything up enough, you'll kill it. But I used to make a big Dutch oven full of beans, and we just keep top on and heat them up in the morning or at night.
If you go, just run over there to Colorado and get some of those medium, super hot green chilies that they have over there, and that'd kill everything too.
Yep. There you go.
Hey, I got changing the subject. Tell you a story. I'll tell you a story about a dog. I called a friend of mine. Me and Benny know him. I don't think we should drop his name, but we know him. He's a houndsman. He hunts and called him up. Talk about. I had some trouble with some money for the city of Tucumcari. Just kind of a weird deal, and I knew he was a big dog up there in Tucumcari for a while. And so I called him, and I was talking to him and everything. We were talking about dogs and this and that, and he's got a couple dogs that he got from me. He said really, really likes them. And I said, "Man," I said, "how about that sale up there? Did you see where they sold that dog for $17,800, that lion hound?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I was there." And I told him, I said, "Can you believe that somebody paid $17,800 for a lion hound?" He said, "Yeah, I believe it." He said, "I'm the one who bought that dog." All I could say was, "Ooh, congratulations."
Just like Chris Perez, congratulations.
Oh, that was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life. When I guess I should tell that story too. Is that a good enough story to tell online, or should I not tell it?
Yeah, go ahead, tell it. It'll be good.
Will it be good?
It's not even a real story. It's for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was real.
We're covered.
We were all sitting there at the beer stand. This was in the roping days when we all drank lots of beer. And we were just a bunch of men sitting around there at the beer stand. There was probably 8 of us sitting there drinking. And, at those big ropings is at the Coliseum, those gals would get dressed up like $100 bill, man. They were dolled up, and we're all sitting there. And this gal comes walking by, and I mean, she is drop dead gorgeous. And she's very, very well endowed. She's pretty breasty.
So she got a good personality, is what you're saying.
Yeah, she does. And a friend of ours was sitting there, and he's a funny guy anyway. And he said, "Woo!" He said, look at them on that gal." That guy turned around, looked at him, and said, "That's my wife." And he looked him right in the eye and he said, "Ooh, congratulations." Nobody could get mad then. We just all laughed, and it was pretty.
What do you expect out of a sheep rancher?
Yeah. Do you know Chris? Well, those Pettises. They run bunches of sheep up there.
I know his family.
He's a
And
good guy. He was funny now.
I hunted lions with his uncle over in Arizona.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so that dog sold, and there was other dogs that sold for 17,000, and a Derringer dog. I think Larry Webb sold one for 17,000 or something. Derringer sold one for that, and then, of course, Breck Bean was the one who sold that 17.8, the high selling dog. So that was pretty. Not to brag, I got a half brother to that dog right out here in my kennel. He's worth about $150.
There you go. Take him to the auction.
Yeah, I'll go run him through the auction.
Well, you know, that's guy is where I got my dog Trip when she was a pup, and her litter mate Repeat, and all of those dogs made good hands, and they sold Repeat at, I don't know, 5 years old or something for $7,800. And then they were all out of dogs, and they even called up and said, "Hey, what about if you give us that dog back?" And I gave them the pound sand sign, and you know, the hell, I know you gave me that pup when it was just a little bitty 5, 6, 8 week old pup, but that dog's a dog now, and it's a vital part of my deal. So, yeah, but he's been around good dogs already.
I think most of my dogs go back to Pete and Repeat on one side. I mean, they go back to Pete and Repeat, and that's. I know y'all. There's been a big debate over what Lily went back to, whether Lily went back to Henry McIntyre's Newt, but I know on one side of her went back to Pete and Repeat, and then old Bo went to. He went back to old Blue, Van Johnson's old Blue dog, and Pete and Repeat were out of old Blue, weren't they, Benny?
Yes.
Yeah, so Bo was like a litter mate to all those dogs. And then
Pete was out of Blue, and then they bred Pete to a Walker dog named Mary, and that's where Trip and Repeat and the rest of those dogs came out of.
Yeah. I got that pedigree around here somewhere. Yeah, so a lot of these dogs go back to that good old stuff. Are you going to the Earn Your Spurs next year? Yes, Les, we're planning on it. Benny's already made arrangements for us.
He's already booked us.
We are booked. We are booked.
Arizona Traditional Outfitters said deer hunts start during that rendezvous, but that's okay because all the deer hunters they don't go into the woods when those hound hunters are there.
They don't like to go in there with a bunch of barking dogs.
No, we'll run off all the deer. You're right. It does start. So does bear. So does lion. So it ought to be a good time. I'll have my longbow in case I bump a deer, and we may have some backstrap for dinner.
Do you have to draw a deer license or archery, or is it over the counter?
Over the counter in some units. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. I'll bring my longbow, and then I always have a bear and lion tag, so you never know. Hopefully I'm done. If I'm done, I'll be over there probably early camping out, riding my mule around.
I think my wife's going. Is your first wife going with you, Benny?
I doubt it.
My kid has a soccer game that morning in Sholo. So I don't know if I'm going to run up the hill real quick and grab everybody and come back down. It's at 9, so I'll be back down by 11.
It's a 2-hour drive? 1 hour drive?
Yeah, probably hour and a half, 2 hours. Probably, I don't know. Depends on the traffic. Mm-hmm. A couple hours. Yeah, it's an hour and a half to Sholo, if not more.
Hanlon?
What's that?
Michael Hanlon. He says that he bought a price at Turkey Creek and he's seen everything except bear. Well, just keep looking around because there's bear over there on Turkey Creek.
A lot of bear. They're
This
just
is
up
the
high.
southeast corner. It's over there on the foothills of the Chiricahuas.
Oh, yeah.
Clump sold their deal on Turkey Creek. It was too far away, like everything else is close, I guess.
There might be a lot of people at that rendezvous.
Over at Young?
I seen there's a no burn right now. So I'm hoping.
So that means you can't have a campfire? Oh, man.
Not yet. Hopefully, but usually, well, I'm not. Just lock the gates.
Then nobody can get in. Is it got gates? It's a gated.
Oh, I
thing?
don't know. It might. It might.
They reserve, the Forest Service reserves those big wings off of those campgrounds for just big organizations, big groups.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Huh.
Non-residents have to apply for deer tags the year before, and there's only so many tags they sell. Is that over the counter, Johnny? Well, I better go. Thanks, Brett and Benny. I'm a nobody. I was late.
Don't pay attention to Chris, Les.
Hunt Unit 23. I don't hunt 23 because there's a lot of dummies that go there and mess things up.
Well, I got I had a really good question for Chris and I can't think of it now. Oh, they said they're going to have live music at that deal. Is that true?
Yeah, that's what they're working on. I don't know how confirmed it is, but she did say that the other day on.
Is that
so?
Taylor,
she might have found somebody.
Taylor Swift is going to be there.
Diane, yeah, and there's going to have a booth set up for Harris, so you guys can get signed up to vote for Harris. She's going to make a speech.
Who's that?
Kamala.
Oh, Kamala.
Yeah.
We got our thumbs down now.
Right. there they all go. Bam, bam, bam. Benny's bringing his spear. It's gonna be like on that movie 300, where he throws it way across.
I tell you what, I had that one video that I made about going to that cabin up there on Google Earth, and it's got like 460,000 views or something, and you wouldn't believe the comments I've got. I mean, it's just someone calling me a stupid SOB redneck, don't take care of my dogs or my mules, and I tied my mules up in the sun. I didn't tie them up in the shade.
Must be someone you know.
Yeah, probably. Probably my ex-wife.
Might have been me. What was it?
It was my ex-wife.
Pick and Shovels just chimed in. Is this which of this half of Pick and Shovels is this?
Well, he said I am not with her.
With who?
I think that's your vice president.
Pick and Shovels. I am not. Oh, kind of scared me. I thought it might be him.
Yeah, usually fire restrictions are lifted by end of August, so hopefully we've been getting some rain.
Get some monsoons in there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw so how bad is that fire, Chris? Did you just go through there?
No, I go through Globe. I don't like going through Payson. There's a bunch of idiots that drive Payson. When there's an accident, it's bad. I think they just had 2 or 3 fatalities in an accident. I came through there going to Young one day to look at that place, which I never made it because I stopped and talked to Dale for 3 hours. But there was an accident, and they had the car on the truck, and the airbag was outside the front of the windshield, and the whole front end of the car was gone. It's bad. They're idiots. There's just idiot drivers up that way.
Speaking of Dale, next Monday night, you guys get all your ducks in a row. I want to talk about that ethics and opinions and laws and all that kind of stuff. Because that, Chris Powell posted that about that Wade Lemon, and it kind of, everybody just
you're gonna
went.
start it.
I'm not going to start it right now. Not now. We're going to be prepared.
It's going.
Benny's got a spear. I'm going to wait until next week when I have a spear too. So, I don't.
Hey, tell people to get signed up. Yeah, you need to sign up. Pick and Show Outfitters. What is that? There's no physical address. I have. Oh, if I made an event on my Facebook, and I think I shared it on my Chris Watson. I've shared it on my Anecdote of a Houndsman and my Arizona Working Dog Alliance, and I dropped the coordinates on there. So if anybody, I can't message Brett. Brett cut me off from messaging on here, I think, but
no, I did. You can do whatever you want to.
I can't.
Well, you think it's because you don't know how? It's not my fault.
You don't have no room to talk.
I'm gonna post the poster on my community page on my Born 100 Years Too Late. So
and you guys got to go to Pick and Shovel Outfitters.com, right? Pick and Shovel Outfitters.com. You guys got to get signed up for that steak dinner. These guys are kind of doing it. I mean, they're not charging us for it. They're just charging for the meal. So you got to get on there and sign up, and they're not charging us for the area.
And it's
I think
steak. It's a steak too, right?
Yeah, tri-tip steak. And the kids got like a $10 dinner for the kids, which was probably like mac and cheese or whatever. So, but they're doing all the work. Me and Brett are going to be ledged up with some whiskey.
No,
my bottle.
My wife will be there. So,
you got to leave her home.
You got that ledged up whiskey, don't you? From
that's all right. I got a shot glass for her too.
From yeah, no, we don't want that.
she would go cooking for 10 hours straight and make us eat every bit of it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Hey, yesterday, Brett, somebody said that they wanted to see your wife on a video, and I just kind of laughed because when we were over there at Douglas at Earn Your Spurs, she didn't even want her arm getting shown on the deal.
No,
if she's on a video, it's probably because it's Brett's last words, and she did something really bad to him and told everybody, "Sorry, guys." He mouthed off.
He's gone. He's gone.
He's gone. Thank you. Come again. Yep.
Yeah, that
Louisiana hunting. We're setting some of big tents and a cook tent.
Wow. I'll put that on my community page on the Born. I just mentioned it. I went live on my other channel last night, and I mentioned something about it, and I had some people that were interested in going. So I'm sure.
I don't have no flyers. It's all internet stuff there, Johnny.
Oh yeah, it's all.
Let's tease them. Let's tease them a little bit about next week, if we're going to do next week.
Well, we'll just set the premise. What it was, Wade Lemon did. I guess I don't know the guy. I've heard the guy's name since day one. Haven't you, Benny? I mean, he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, has great dogs. People like his dogs. I mean, the guy's a catcher.
Yeah, he's caught a lot of game in his life and everything. And somehow he got in trouble for doing I guess some kind of canned hunt. But the details weren't very specific.
Stop right there, because a lot of people don't know what a canned hunt is. I think I mentioned it last week on mine. At the very end, Jared said, "Hey, did you hear about this?" And I'm like, "Wait, what?" Canned hunts, and people were asking what a canned hunt was.
Well, I think what he did, and it's a lot more it's a lot more common than probably most realize, is in who knows what the time limit is and how it works. I think the law says the hunter has to be with the dogs when the dogs are put on the ground, I believe.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think they probably caught a lion and called in a hunter. Say, hey, we got a lion in a tree or whatever. Can you get here? We'll keep the lion here until you can get here and shoot it. Which, you know, all of us agree that's not ethical. That's not. They miss all the hunt and everything, and it's against the law. So, you know, everybody just got their panties in a bind, you know, talking about what's ethics and what's the law and what's moral and this and that, and where do ethics come from or where do laws come from, and, you know, opinions, and well, all ethics is somebody's opinion and this and that. And I, you know, I was thinking of above that, you know, before they have a law, before there's a law, before there's any of that, it is opinions. It's people getting together and deciding what is ethical or what is good. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all the same. If you catch a lion and there's a hunter, you got a dead lion. So you hope that everything's on science-based conservation. That's how they set the quotas and all this. But that doesn't have anything to do with the method of the hunt. You know, the method of the hunt is, you know, like I said it's a slippery slope. Where do you draw the line? You know, radios, cell phone cameras, dragging roads, snow, even a mule. Is it ethical to ride a mule to keep up with your dog?
Snowmobile.
Yeah, all that. Radios, having guys driving roads. I mean, I know in snowy areas they hire high school kids to drive roads, and they give them a finder's fee when they find a snow track, and it might be
$200.
All night long they're driving roads looking for tracks, and then get on the radio, say, hey, we got a big tom track over here in blah 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 canyon,
and they sit on it.
Yeah, they sit on it to let other guys. Yeah, is that ethical? Is that against the law? Is it? I mean, that's what I mean. There's a lot of different things you can think about when it comes to that.
We'll leave that situation at that. That's what we'll talk about Monday, is the weight limit. All these guys. There was a Nevada commissioner got caught baiting bears. I just posted that on Arizona Houndsman group.
You know,
so we'll talk. But I have just talking to people on, and you've probably dealt with it, Brett. I did a line thing, and a guy said, that's cheating using dogs. And I said, cheating? How is it cheating? You come follow me on a mule in this dirty, stupid desert. My dogs are far from good. I can catch stuff, but I can catch a frog if I put my hand in a pond that has frogs in it sooner or later.
Yeah.
So, and I said, cheating. I said, how do you kill them? You kill them with your bare hands? Because using
a weapon, that's cheating. Yeah.
Well, if you're glassing them up at 500 yards and shooting them, that's not fair.
Yeah.
If you're calling them with the predator call, that's not fair. Here, let's have your wife come in for dinner. You walk in and she shoots you. That's cheating if she's going to kill you. You're expecting a dinner. You know what I mean? You're doing a call, mating call, bugling elk. That's fair. You're telling this dude, hey, come in. You're going to get a little whack. That's not fair. You know, you can go all day long unless you're walking up and punching him in his head or choking him out, or I don't know, using a stick you sharpened on a stone. Like, you can go all day long about.
That's what I meant by being a slippery slope. I mean, so they draw the laws up, and you know, we abide by the laws, and most of us will agree. You know, that's like killing a female lion. It's not against the law; it's legal, but most of us think that that's not real ethical. And I don't know. They got all, you know. Chris Powell kind of got his badge out, I think, and kind of got hammering on everybody about it. And is his name Chris? Yeah, Chris Powell. And I don't know. I was kind of looking beyond that, where the laws are made and how those laws are created, and you know, who decides? You know, who decides what's ethical or what's lawful and what's not? You know, who is that group of people, and how does it come to be? I mean, Texas, until just a few months ago, it wasn't. You could do canned hunts. It was legal. You know, you catch a lion, put him in a cage, and go turn him loose for somebody, and let him go run him down and kill him.
Rope him and dope him.
Yeah,
that's how they did it in the old days.
And it was done. I mean, like I said, all our old time heroes used to do it. I mean, but you know, these guys are just trying to make money too. One of the things that bothered me about the whole thing, is that Wade Lemon guided Donald Trump Jr. on a bear hunt. I think it was a bear hunt or a lion hunt.
A baited bear hunt, right?
Well, I don't know if it's baited or not. I don't know what it was, but just that he guided a Trump could bring too much attention to him. And that kind of bothered me a little bit. I don't know, but we already talked about it. Now we don't have nothing to talk about next week.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
You think we can work on it? We can take notes all week and.
We'll talk about next week. We'll just line it up. We're going to talk about the opinions of whose opinion. I know, Chris Powell is the game warden, so his opinion is going to differ from some guy, a guide, an outfitter that's been doing it for 40 years, that's seen these guys do it. He grew up with it.
I think he's just looking at the law. Just this is the law, and I can understand that. I can understand that. And somebody knowingly breaks the law. Well, that's wrong, and we know that's wrong. But what I was talking about, or what I was thinking about, well, ethical. Ethical. Who makes those laws? Who's the ones that decide upon all that? And where does it come from? Because in New Mexico, like we can hunt lions all year round, and we can kill 2 lions a year, but we can't hunt at night. I mean,
Nevada.
In Nevada, you can hunt all year round, hunt at night, and I think you can kill 2 lions a year. In Texas, you go down to Texas, they might have outlawed canned hunts, but there's lion's not even a game animal. I mean, you can kill as many as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. In California, do you want me to talk about California? We can talk about California if you want to.
Cut it. And I think if you looked at all the numbers, I haven't looked at all the numbers. I probably won't. Maybe I will this week if I get some time. But how many lions has Nevada killed? And with their open, like a coyote, or how many lions are took out of New Mexico, and how many lions are took out of Arizona when there's a 3-month, you can't hunt them. You can't hunt them at night, and there's a quota. And then let's go to California and see how many lions are killed there every year with it being 100% illegal to look at a lion. You can't even kill a lion in another state and bring the fur back to California. That's about as dumb as you can get. That's stupid. That's just ridiculous. Now, I could understand if it was a class 3 fully automatic Tommy gun, but even then, federal laws say you can have it in California. So if I'm on I-10, that's federal.
How does it get and how does it get to that point? I mean, how did California, how did they get to that point? How did the people allow it to get to that point?
You know how they get to that point, and you and me probably disagree a little bit on this because you think they should have done something. When they put in a water bill and it has stuff shoved in it that shouldn't be on a water bill, like, you can only use 3 gallons of water. Let's conserve water. And then 3 paragraphs down is, also to conserve water, you can't hunt lions.
See,
I think a lot of people have been deceived. They did.
That shouldn't be allowed. That shouldn't be allowed.
You know whose fault that is?
The big cities. Well, yeah, the big cities,
Americans.
And that's what and I've been corrected about a lot of that stuff about California, saying that Northern California is like a completely different world than Southern California. And saying me being dumb, I didn't know any different. I just thought California's California, and I don't know the difference. I've never been. So
you got schooled a little.
I got schooled, and I mean I really got schooled after I said my little comments.
I apologize for Brett. I'll just keep apologizing for Brett. We're sorry. He red raged. I can't help it. It's like roid rage, but without the steroids. He has red hair, so he red rages. That's a ginger thing.
Well, what do you guys think?
I just, you get in all the politics is stupid.
Jeez, I hate
It's
politics.
stupid. It is. It's no fun. And there are people like Lori Jacobs that need to go do that because she wants
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I started this alliance, but I just want to start it and maybe someone who's smart come and take it over. You know, I don't know bylaws. My bylaws are going to be one: don't be a dumb idiot. Period. I
Benny,
don't know
where?
what else to put.
What happened to you, Benny? I thought you got better internet.
He
Well,
froze it in
it
the
was
bathroom.
better too, and now it's wearing out.
You wore it out
Well,
tonight.
everybody's coming home, getting on the internet.
I think I guess more than anything, it just irritates me that and it could happen here, and I'd probably be just as bad. I would hope that I would do something about it, but that they let it get to that point, it just bothers me. It really does.
Well, and I think if someone came in and said, "You're an idiot," you let it get to that point. Why are you stupid and brainwashed? You'd be like, "Don't,
No, I'd
don't."
probably, if it got to that point, I'd probably say, I'll shake my head and say, man, I'm sorry. I was stupid at that time. I know
Yep.
better now or something. I,
I've
I can
I,
take criticism.
I've been. I've.
That
We'll
was a
leave that
good
one
one.
alone. I've been on the internet with Elizabeth, and people just shun her for being a Californian. And I tell people, I said, it's like an abused spouse that notices another abused spouse, and they're telling them, "You're stupid. It's your fault. You're just an abused spouse. You let it happen." And then they get abused, and then they realize, oh, maybe
Yeah,
I am abused.
yeah, but
I don't
let's
think you
let's don't
realize it,
even
but you
let's don't
should
even
take you
let's
should
don't even
take that
go there.
advice.
Let's
You
don't
should
even.
take a little advice from those people to tell them, how did you get to that point? How did you get that point? That way, when you get a bill come in, nobody reads those bills. When you go vote, you read. It's like a thumbnail and a title. You see it. It says "Save Conservation, Save all the wildlife." And they're like, "That sounds good." Bam, they vote for it. They don't read. Nobody hardly reads those pamphlets they send out that tell you all the laws they want to pass, all the bills, and what they're about. Nobody reads those. Now, if you started a Facebook or a TikTok that would explain it, you might get a couple more people, but who wants to sit there and listen to someone? They just want to vote.
But
They
it's
just want to.
but it's not only the game laws; it's everything. It's everything
Oh,
involved with that
yeah,
state. It's all
yeah.
the stuff involved with that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Well,
you
it's
probably
not
go to
just,
Cuba and have more freedom than you do in California.
but
Yeah.
it's not just that state. Go to Washington State. I
Yeah.
mean, you can all over it. And when it comes to hunting, New Mexico's got a lot of freedoms, but there's a lot about New Mexico that we're not free anymore either. I
No,
mean,
that's
look,
true. That's true. And I
I
don't
live
do
over here.
anything about it either.
Well, and I live over here in the part of the oil capital of the world, the Permian. And
Permian Basin.
yeah, and at one time, not very long ago, New Mexico was the world's largest producer of natural gas. New Mexico, only New Mexico. And our government now, which I do what I can, but I'm only one person, I can't stop it. They're trying to do away with oil and gas production in the state of New Mexico. And what so there's it happens in all different forms all around us. It just depends on what the topic is and how close it hits to home, how fired up we get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Oh, then he came back. Then he came back. And what I learned too is how they said that Oregon and Washington lost all their stuff 20 years before California did.
Really?
Yeah. So
No, I know. Just it discuss. I mean, it just
it's a
all that
dirty
stuff.
subject, but
Yeah.
when I just heard a quote the other day that was great. If you're raised in a burning house, the world will always be on fire. And that's California right now. we're not raised in a burning house when it comes to that. We have our freedom to go out and whack a lion or whatever the heck we want to do and be all
Yeah.
gung ho barbaric.
Now we do.
But even then, me saying whack a lion is a big no no. You know what I mean? You have to say harvest.
Harvest.
And then then you have to explain to these dummies who eat lettuce that we eat the lion. And because it's a cat.
But I don't even that's another thing that dead is dead. I mean, you eat it or you don't eat it. I don't know. It's not that that's like kowtowing to them, give in, say we're going to harvest it and then we're going to eat all the edible parts and everything. Well, my dog's got to eat too.
Oh yeah. Oh man, every time I butcher an elk, they get all the bones, and I don't scrape the bones like I really should because I feed them. I cut them up and feed them to my dogs. All the cut up pieces that are crappy, I freeze them in 5-pound bags, and when I go out bear hunting or lion hunting, I supplement. I feed them that meat when I'm hunting. So it don't ever go to a waste. It's the whole rainbows and unicorn thing. It's people thinking they're a dude when they're not a dude, or they them.
Jeez, don't even go there. Now you see, let's talk about something else. I start getting grumpy when I start thinking about all that.
So this week I'm going. I bought a big tent. I bought for $200. I bought a big military tent. It didn't have no poles. And I go it's right up the street from where I work. I'm on Marketplace. So I kind of do the area. Guys, like $200, thing's in great shape. It didn't have no poles. You had one adjustable pole in the middle. Came home, made a video, me and my boy setting it up. My girls went to their grandparents. My other boy went to his friends. It's just me and my 10-year-old, Lyndon, and then my wife. And so we set up this tent, and I didn't have no poles, and I'm impatient. So I'm a scrounger, man. I pulled just so much conduit off of jobs that people leave there. So I had some 2-inch conduit. I'm like, man, I wonder if this Schedule 40 be strong enough. So I cut a bunch of 4-foot. Well, I look up on the internet, 5 foot. It says 5'8". I cut them all 5'8". I get them in there. They're too tall. So I had to cut them down to 4'10", and just some 2-inch conduit, Schedule 40, and it worked. So I got that tent set up. Oh yeah, kind of cool. I PTSD'd because when you walk into it, it smells like military.
Brought back memories. Huh?
Oh man, there's certain yellow lights in parking lots or anywhere. If it's a yellow light and it smells like diesel, I just brings me right back to just flashbacks to back when I was in like North Carolina or South Carolina at Fort Jackson working and stuff. And yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's a cool tent. It's heavy, 150 pounds. It's a tent you could set up and stay there for a month.
Really?
So, but he bought some little rebar. It's like 3/8 rebar. It's not big. And it had a little hook in it. He bought them on eBay or somewhere. And they're all right if using some soft dirt. But even when I hammer them all the way ground, that big tent kind of pulls them and bend them. So I took some 5/8 rebar, and I had a bunch of big nuts I took off a job that they threw in the trash, or they were gonna, and ground it down, put the big nut on the top of it, and I'm welding it. Except that I had to use my Harbor Freight because I ran out of gas on my big welder. So I went to my Harbor Freight, got 3 done, motivated. Actually, I went out there to get hamburger for dinner, and I just started building them. My wife's like, I don't even know where you went. And I ran out of wire so I had to go get gas today. And that's what cool. It's just a cool tent.
Where are you going to set it? When and where are you going to set it up?
I'm going to set it up this weekend. I set it up.
How are you
going what I needed?
How are you going to use it though? How are you going to use it?
It would be good. It's hot. The damn thing is hot. It is only 80 degrees up here, and that thing was 200. It's a good winter tent, and they have a liner you put inside there, and I have all the clips inside the hooks. You can put and it has a stove
jack.
Yeah, hole in it, so that's cool. So I'm gonna build I have a little stove I'm gonna put in there, and I think it's a good winter one.
Okay, hold on. Where are you going to put it up, and how are you going to use it?
Whenever I can, and I don't know if I'm staying somewhere for a week.
So you don't have any ideas like how, like envisioning what, I'll put it up on so and so mountain, and we'll bear hunt out of there for a couple weeks or something, or don't you have any ideas like that?
No, just carry it around in my trailer and set it up when.
Wherever you're at.
Yeah. If I'm staying for a week, I'll set it up because if it rains, I could put all of my cooking gear in there. Like I could even sleep. It's a house. I could live in there.
How
So
long does it take you? How long do you think you can set it? I mean, how long does it take you to set it up?
Oh, I think I know how to set it up now. And I watched a YouTube video how a guy did it by himself. It's heavy.
Yeah.
I think I could have it set up within an hour by myself.
That's not bad at all.
No, I know how to set it up now. I didn't know nothing about it. And for me to find a video of that tent with one guy setting it up, and I had my son to help me, but now I know how to set it up. And the adjustable pole in the middle, the guy had bought some fiberglass. Thing probably goes up 40 feet.
Jeez.
And it has little buttons in it, and then it locked in. So
Yeah.
I got it set, and then I took a measurement what I need, and I need 125 inches. So I got it, and I drilled holes to where those little buttons would pop in. So I got it set exactly where I need it now. So you set it up. It's heavy. Crawling in there, you're claustrophobic. It's heavy on you. If that tent fell on you, it'd be heavy. So
especially if it's 100 degrees outside.
Oh, and it's already oiled. It got some rain and it just beads right out. I'll probably oil it some more. But it's just a good tent. I think if you went to camp somewhere and you were going to stay there for a week or two,
be worthwhile.
It'd be a good tent because if it rained, you could sleep in it. You could have all your cook gear in it. I could take my mule in there.
There you go.
Tire up. You know what I mean?
There's your video.
I just always wanted one of them big canvas tents, and I got 200. The guy wanted 5, and I seen him mark it down to 200. And I texted him. I said, "You home?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'm headed to Sholo here in a bit. I'll stop by." And I did. I stopped by and zelled him $200. And the guy's from Sholo. All his family's up here. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're like $1,500 tents, man.
Oh yeah.
So
I got a wall tent out here.
All the ropes are good. So
I got a pretty big wall tent out here. I haven't set it up in years. We used to set it up when I lived up there in the mountains. We'd set it up. And then when my brother-in-law used to come down, we'd go deer hunting together. We'd set it up. But then I got that little snow tracker canvas tent. It's pretty nice. It's easy. And you can carry it on, it probably only weighs, 40 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
Are you still with us, Benny?
I am. I'm in and out, but I'm here.
Every time I put your emblem on you, you come back. Watch.
Yeah.
It my internet. Nope, not working.
Didn't work this time, did it? Let's make sure we got it the right size.
I don't know where you orange suit, but I'm a little bit more hairy than that.
I wish we had some AI that when he talked, the mouth would move on that Lorax.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So other than that, I don't know. I don't think I'll set it up. I thought about setting it up over there. My whole family was supposed to come to the rendezvous, but now my son's in soccer and he has a game that Saturday, so I got to deal with that. I don't know. I'm going to go to the first game. I don't know if I'm going to make that game, and I don't know if they're coming down. So I might just bring Trevor, my other 10-year-old, and we'll just have some whiskey and smoke some cigars, I guess. Oh, then I got the hound trials. So I'm going camping this weekend for my brother. He would have been 30. He had passed. We're going to where his ashes are spread. We go every year. Then I got a free weekend, and I think I'm going to go kill some elk because it's a cow. It's all cow elk hunt now.
Where's that at?
9-hole.
On your golf course?
On my golf course. So my wife has to kill one, and then my daughter will get a tag. We'll go kill one, and then her old lady get a tag. We'll go kill one, and my other daughter get a tag. So I'm trying to. That way I can eat all my 2012 elk. Refresh it up a little. I want to take one elk and just bottle it up, can it for those people who don't call it. So, but yeah, that's my plan. And then bear season kicks in. We got hound trials on the 10th of August, which is opening season. Which I'm gonna have a word with him. We're gonna have to change those dates because the first weekend of bear used to be like a religious ceremony for us. We'd go out and camp, and I didn't plan on catching nothing half time because the dogs are just so wound up, and they're going to be twice as bad because they've been up here for 2 months, and I haven't been here running them. So I got to get them out and start burning some fat and chopping some of them toenails down, and then I'll go bear hunting the weekend after that. The 17th, I'll probably be bear hunting, and then the 24th is the rendezvous. So good times.
The 24th.
I'm busy.
No kidding.
Yeah.
The 24th.
So I'll bring my horse trailer down. And I think she said we could stay till Monday. She has that place till Monday. So we don't have to pull out till Monday.
Yeah, I got to see what I got going on. I mean,
I'm not a pull out kind of guy. Stay in as long as I can.
I don't know what all I got going on. I got September 3rd.
And Jeremy, I think Jeremy's coming down that whole week. Louisiana hunting.
Oh, really? Is he going to bring some
maybe
dogs?
I'll do a little. He's supposed to come bear hunting. He said he's building a dog box to my specifications.
Oh, cool.
Said you better get a chain on top of that.
I'll be right back, guys.
Should I just freeze right here so it looks like me and Benny are just frozen?
Yeah, we'll just play mannequin.
I'll see if I can talk without moving my lips too much. I wish I could pause mine so it just looks like we're talking and nobody's there. When are you coming down, Benny? And what happened to buying property in Arizona? You still looking around?
Well, I put that on hold. I got approached by a solar company about putting solar panels on my property, and I got to thinking about it, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to live here. I've got a half a section that won't feed 2 mules. What the hell is it? What's it good for? So I'm looking into that deal right now, and if that takes place, then
would they just lease it from you? Is that what it is? Or they want to buy it?
The guys that reached out to me this time are talking about a 30-year lease, and that's probably longer than I'll be alive. But
well, just put me on that lease with you, and I'll take care of it.
I got looking in the deal, and this company is out of Denver, and all they do is put the deals together, and then they offer them to a solar company that puts in the solar, and then they make their contract with the power company. And I've got 2 big main high lines going across my property.
Oh,
so
nice.
So I'm and the solar panels have gotten so efficient now that my property is about the right size property for what. And so I'm kind of trying to scare everybody now, and I'm going direct to my sister knows one of the top dogs in this part of the power company, and I'm trying to locate him. His son killed himself 2 years ago, and his wife just passed away, so he's out of pocket a lot. But I chased down the meter reader today, and she gave me some phone numbers for her bosses that should be able to reach out to this guy. So anyway, everything's on hold right now, Chris, because as much as I don't like all that green crap, we're not going to put a stop to it. So maybe I'm part of the problem too. If I sell my property to the power company so they can put solar panels on it.
Well, like you said, what you can't feed two mules on that thing unless you. The only thing you can make that half a section worth of money is if you get an agriculture business going, file for a watershed grant, and put a pivot on it.
That doesn't happen in New Mexico.
Mm.
No, New Mexico got adjudicated water rights, and so that wouldn't. And the water out here is sketchy and deep, and so when these guys approached me and I talked to Diane, I said, hey, what do you think about this deal? And the numbers that they were showing us, it's like we know there's more, that they're leaving a lot on the table, or we would be leaving a lot on the table. So that's what I'm chasing down the upper management of the power company in this part of the state so they can put me in the right direction. And everyone I've talked to, in fact, last weekend up in the mountains, a guy from Las Cruces, his son knows the higher up people in Denver. And he said, we'll put you in touch with the people that'll make the decisions. So that's where we are. We're kind of, we're on standby. And so if I could only get $2 or $3 million deal, I could be freed up to go to Peoples Valley or Skull Valley or anywhere I wanted to go.
It's kind of where I'm at on my Winslow property. I had a broker reach out, a real estate person, and say, "Hey, I got this investor wants to buy your property." And I said, "Oh, give me 100,000 for it, and you can have it." Well, they want to give you 5,000 due diligence for a month or two, whatever, and 6 months they'll give you 80,000. I said, "Well, it's nice, but I want 100,000 for it. I'm not in no hurry to sell it. Taxes are $40 a year. It don't bother me none." Well, and then she come back. She was persistent for weeks. Well, they'll give you $10,000 for the due diligence, and if they don't like it, I keep the money. And then 6 months they'll give you 80,000, pay it off. And I said, well, 100,000 sounds a little better.
I had a friend of mine tell me, Chris, that a bird in the hand was worth two in the bush.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Did I tell you? Did I say that out loud?
You said it out loud to me.
For one, it's a lie because you ain't got friends.
Well, a pretend friend.
It worked out because
this friend also said, because we really don't know what the economy is going to be like next year because of the election and all this stuff. You said all that stuff, and so what's good for me is not good for you.
No, that was 6 months ago.
Are you no?
If it was,
you told me that last week.
No, my deal was 6 months ago.
Oh, so now hindsight, do you think you made a mistake?
No, I don't, because all of a sudden my cousin sends me this thing that they're doing this big industrial thing in Winslow. Big industrial thing, or they're wanting to, and it's right there. And I think that's why that investor wanted it so much, because he didn't know it's going to go. And then if he didn't get it, he was only out $5,000. Oh, sorry, we can't do it because it used to be a dump there and there's too much glass. So what? But then $80,000 in 6 months, they come in, they're going to sell it for $300,000-400,000. I don't know. I had a little bird in the bush, one of the birds in the bush said that place might be worth $800,000.
Wouldn't that be something? So hopefully, the one thing, even with the economy,
land,
whatever, they're not making any more land. So
no, and that was your daddy that said always buy land.
That's the only way I've ever been able to make money. I mean, I've worked and paid my bills, but the only way I made money, any real money, was by buying land and holding on to it and then selling it.
Oh, I got where I live now. I got it cheap. It's split 4 times, has a house on it, has a guest house on it, has a 2,400 square foot shop on it. I got it dirt cheap. I could sell it for 5 times what I paid for it.
Yeah.
So I'd make 500% profit, and I could dump it for 300% profit and sell it tomorrow and say, deal with all my junk.
Then you got to pay a lot of capital gains tax.
Not if I A7 gift it as a wedding present to somebody.
Then they'll just keep it and say, sorry, Dad.
I got a 501c. I'll donate it all to myself.
I'm pretty sure they'll catch on to that.
Hey. By then, that money be gone. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I made a good choice. Maybe I didn't. But like you said, land, there's no more land. Once it's gone, where I'm working now, it's all tilt buildings. 80,000, 50,000, 100,000. There's million square foot tilt buildings being built.
Jeez,
on 303 in Arizona.
What are they putting in? I mean, what for?
What everything. Amazon buys some of them. Dick's Sporting Goods has one. And they just half the time they
like distribution centers. Distribution centers.
And it says for lease. Yeah. Crazy.
Huh.
For lease, and it's leased before they're done.
I wonder how much land the Chinese are buying. I've heard they're buying lots of land.
Dude, I just talking to my CPA today about that, and I said it's absolutely 100% ridiculous that a foreign entity can buy land for one anywhere near military installations, which the China likes to do, or any port. They shouldn't be able to buy land at all. Look at Williams. Who's that owns Williams? Afghanistan or Iraq, growing all that, sucking up all that water for their alfalfa that we don't see none of? Crazy. Water. I don't care about electricity. We can live without electricity. We did it for thousands and thousands of years. You can't live without water. And nobody makes a big deal about water. Arizona, you're still allowed to water a golf course or have a car wash. There's 3 car washes on every corner in Arizona. I built 7 of them. Yeah.
There you go. It's all California's fault.
They brainwash on us all. Chris, you could comments? Sell eyes. You could sell eyes to an Eskimo. Well, that's my other job up there in Alaska. That's why I was gone. I just got back out of the flight, flew back in, and drove up from Alaska. I had to sell some ice. Summertime. They got to buy it now before I run out in the winter.
They got to plan ahead.
Yeah, supply and demand. It's crazy. This country's crazy. Politics are crazy. I don't feel. If anybody watched my elk video I just put out, I said on there, I don't care if you're a vegan or a non-hunter, you better learn. I'd rather go against my values than watch my kids starve to death. No one in this country hardly has been hungry. I'm talking really hungry. Belly swell hungry.
We're all spoiled. I mean.
And if you can't afford it, you go get on welfare. And you're still eating better than I am. So.
What are you going to have going on Wednesday? Tell us your plan for your Wednesday show.
I usually figure that out about 3:00 on Wednesday. I'll let you guys know.
Don't you? I don't. Do you have a good guest or anything?
No, I don't. Probably just a bullshit session. Well, we were supposed to talk about outlaws and values and ethical hunting on this, and then I was gonna kind of extend it to Wednesday. Talk about the other outlaw, the guy who got busted, the commissioner over there in Nevada for illegally bear hunting. I haven't really researched it too much. I just found it.
How was he illegally bear hunting? What was he doing?
Baiting or something. Maybe he was baiting. Yeah, and it was a commissioner, so it wasn't just Joe Blow. As somebody important, I think. So if anybody knows, I don't know. You know who's really smart on that is Jared. He's that lion hunter that comes on with me. He watches that stuff.
Jared.
He'll send me. Jared Fisher, he comes on my show on Wednesdays, the line hunter down in South Arizona.
Oh.
That guy is always finding stuff, you know.
You mean out in the field or what do you
Just on the internet.
Oh,
Just
okay.
find. I didn't know about that Wade Lemon. He's like, hey, Wade Lemon. I'm like, what? You know, I'm kind of anti-news, man. Unless I catch it, just kind of scrolling through, or someone sends it to me. If people would just send me stuff, just send me stuff. Anecdote of a hound, outlook.com, or bred 100 years too late, born 100 years too late.
No,
If you guys got a story, send it to us.
Interview stories and tales, not 100 years
too
late.
What is that? What is that? Do you have an email for that?
Yeah, Brett. Would not for interview stories and tales. I don't. Just you can send it to Brett at Born 100 Years Too Late, or Brett at
that's the email.
Brett Vaughn at iCloud, I think is what it is. But
Ryan Scott's right, allegedly. Now, Wade Lemon got caught and he got sentenced, and it must have been something.
He confessed to it.
Well, it had to be something to get 6 months. They don't usually jail them, do they? I don't really hear about people getting 6 months in jail unless, and it was probably a good 18-month or 2-year investigation. They probably were on him. They probably have all the good evidence.
And he took Donald Trump Jr. Look at what they tried to do to Trump. I mean, they did everything in the world to him.
Yeah, and what kind of hunt did he take him on? Are they going to try to make him look stupid too? Who knows? I don't know. I just don't like the country and the way it is, and these people that are. I'd rather go to California than watch someone burn a flag. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't care how big you are, or how many guns you got, or what color hair you, or how big a him, he, she, her, you they are. I'm gonna take that flag from you. I promise you. I don't like that. I think they should be in jail for treason when they do that.
Yeah.
I don't think we should go to jail. I don't think we should feed them that. I watched one of those deals here recently, and a guy came out of the crowd and was trying to extinguish. He was trying to stomp out the burning of the flag, and somebody grabbed him to put him back in the crowd. And I'm thinking, dude, have you got any idea how fast you can hit the ground and how hard it will be whenever I land my fat ass on you with a knee in your throat?
Yeah. But they don't do that in Arizona or New Mexico or all the Nevada or any Texas. You know what I mean? They don't do that in those states. They do that in these puke states that are full of those pukes. I don't even want to call them a liberal, because a liberal actually, if you read the definition of liberal, actually have some morals. These guys are just pukes. They have no right thinking about politics. They have no right breeding. They should be sterilized. It's crazy. I don't.
If they don't want to, if they really hate the United States that bad, go
Leave.
Somewhere else. Yeah, I've been places, and I'll guarantee you that we got it made. Even when it's bad here, it's better than everywhere else. And I'm not trying to water down getting bad. I'm just saying they need to go somewhere else. First time I went to Africa, to Swaziland, they asked us, what brings you guys, how come you wanted to come to Swaziland? And there was this little black gal from San Diego, and she said, I just want to see my people. And I looked at her and I said, what do you mean your people? I was curious. What do you mean your people? And she said, where I come from, my people. I want to see my roots. I want to see experience being my people. And I looked at her and I said, what a stupid comment. Your people. You don't know that you're from Swaziland, of all places. You don't know what part of the continent that you're from. And why don't you get your little self out of that motel we're staying in with the armed guards outside and go stay out here in the bush? What happens when the witch doctor?
And for all those people who say, what does this have to do with anything? Those are the people that are voting to save the mountain lion. Those him, she, hers, blue-haired people that have none at all of conservation and what it is.
Benny looks like one of those billy goats that doesn't like what he smells.
Oh,
over there.
Let's quit talking about politics and stuff like that. Man, we lost like 50 people right there. They're like, they're like me. I get too upset.
I just get riled up. That flag burning, that's one thing I won't tolerate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm gonna check out.
You're leaving?
Yeah, my internet's getting worse. What are we? We're crowding 9 o'clock, aren't we?
Yeah, we're pushing it. We're 2 hours and 30 minutes. We've done well for not having anything to talk about. We had a lot to without having a scheduled, scripted subject. There's nothing ever scripted about this outfit.
No, and we don't. I tell you the difference between us and everybody else is we don't just talk about one thing, man. If it comes up, if you guys want to talk about it, we don't care if it's pink flamingos. I guess we'll tell you our 2 cents about it. You know, it may not be right.
Just sitting around the campfire,
and then wait to the end of the show, and Brett will tell you exactly what he thinks.
Bunch of idiots.
What you idiots. And you guys, if you guys get butt over Brett calling you idiot, I get called an idiot by Brett every day for something I do. So to me, I'm like, oh, he cares. So,
well, you guys have a good evening. I enjoyed it. One idiot.
Thank you, Benny. Thanks for coming by and bringing your spear.
Yeah. Talk to you later.
We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Bye.
That guy's brainwashed.
He's a brainwashed idiot.
Thinking he's going to get money out of the green.
Who does he
I'm going to be his best friend if he does get that money. I said, you could put me on that lease if you want. And, he said, I'm not going to be, they want a 30-year lease. I'm not going to be around. I said, well, just put me on the lease with you. I'll handle it after you're gone.
What was he talking about? His gas plant, or what was he talking about?
He has that half section, and there's nothing on it. It's just kind of shit land. It's dry, and he says, I can't feed 2 mules on it, and they want to put solar panels on it.
Oh.
I don't know. Might as well.
Yeah, if it's not good for
I like it. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do unless you can get a watershed grant and put on a pivot, grow some alfalfa or lettuce. I don't know how sandy it is.
Who wants to do that? My gosh, I had a farm. I farmed for a long time. And first place, I'm not a very good farmer. Second place, man, that farming is a lot of work. It requires you to do things at a certain time. And
my cousin's a rancher. And it's fun to go out and brand and help him, but I can go home. This guy is every weekend out. And he has a regular job and leaves his job at 1 or 2 and goes out and waters cows till dark.
Yeah,
I don't want to work that hard.
Ranching wouldn't be as bad. I don't think I would mind but I wouldn't do it right. I would be out gallivanting around, looking for a lion track or doing the things that I do, instead of sitting there taking care of business.
Well, you'd take your dogs with you, go out running your fences, and probably would be.
That's the way all those old-time ranchers, that's why they became good lion hunters and had good dogs.
John Plump, Warner Glenn, Mike Roots. He probably gets every call from a rancher.
Yeah, Mike Roots. Now he's a straight-up just hunter, and packer.
Mm-hmm.
He packs for the Forest Service. He packs in stuff for them, and I got to go talk to him again. Him and my buddy, I think, are gone to Idaho or somewhere to pick up a mule now. So,
yep.
But what do you think, Chris? What else do we got?
I think
anybody else?
We need to find a sponsor and start hitting. You gotta get and talk to Tony. You gotta get and talk to some of these guys before they die.
Oh well, I'm committed. I'm committed. I'm gonna talk to Steve Smith, Rick Dickerson, and Tony, and then I still got to put together my trilogy of those 3 guys that hunted with Dale Lee. I did that like in 2014, something like that, and some really pretty good stuff. I mean, really interesting. Let me see if I can find something I can share right here.
You gotta make videos like crazy when the weather's good, and then in the summer, you gotta park your ass in that chair and get all your interviews done where you have enough videos to put out for the summer, and then work on interviews during the summer when it's not so great to go out and ride with rattlesnakes and heat. And yahoos on their side by side.
Yahoos. Well, I got it all in my stinking. Let me see if I can share some of this. Give you guys a little taste of what I did a long time ago.
Diane Fair texted me, I just seen it, and said, we had one more sign up today. Yes, live music. So if you guys are going, go sign up. Go sign up. Make it worth those guys' while. They just kind of volunteered for us, and they have to pay for that whole parking lot or that whole campsite for the weekend. So we're trying to make it to where we're not out no money for helping us. We'll buy steak dinner. I got to get on. I can't even say it. I've been kind of waiting to see what my schedule was, and I told her that. But go sign up. Pick and shovel outfitters.com. And I started ARYZHHR.com that I'm going to build, and that's going to be for the hound rendezvous in general, period, for this year. Next year, if we have one next year, second annual hound rendezvous. So AZHHR.com. I hadn't even started building it yet. I'm having a platform put together because they had a new system, and I'm stupid, and I need the old system. So, but right now, pick and shovel. Well, even if I had that site up, you'd still go to pickandshoveloutfitters.com. How many are signed up? Not a lot. I don't know, but a couple of them that have signed up are 4 or 5 or 6. They have 4 or 5 people with them. So it might be bigger than we think. Me and Brett just kind of said, hey, let's have a campfire, and whoever wants to come hear our lies.
Let me see.
Brett's going to raffle off a dog. Well, we're not going to raffle. We're going to put a name in a hat. Is Steve Smith coming to the camp out? I don't know. I think you could call him. Brett could probably ask him to go.
Ask who to go?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Steve Smith.
Oh, yeah, I talked to Steve today. He called me.
Yeah. It'd be nice if he showed up over there Saturday. He lives right up the road.
Yeah, I'm going to call him and talk to him tomorrow. I didn't have a chance to talk to him.
I have some tickets. I have some gift cards from Gun Dog Supply. They sent me in some brochures, but I got some $25 gift cards from Gun Dog Supply. They threw in a little, so we'll throw that in the hat too. So we have Brett's dog, right? You still good with that one? That little female?
Yes. She's going to be auctioned off. I wish we could figure out a way to have people that couldn't even be there that could bid on her online,
like
or something.
Put their name in the hat.
Something, yeah. I don't know how we could make that happen.
Well, I mean, they could Zelle me. I have an account for my Orion Guide, so I could have them Zelle me, and I have, or
I got PayPal. I mean,
I see them all the time. They got the generators on the phone, and you put in all their names, or and then you spin it right there on the phone, and it will spin and pick a number or a person's name.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I did that one time before on a live in my
yep,
Born 100 a long time ago. Do you remember that?
yep.
I don't even know what I gave away.
Cup. Was it a cup?
I don't know. It might have been a tumbler.
Maybe I'll make some of my coffee cups, give some of those away, and whatever money we raise, we'll throw it over to the Colorado.
Yeah.
Huntforcolorado.com. That's kind of our goal there. We might not be as cool as Mr. Green Jeans over there, Chris Powell with his whiskey, but we're gonna drink that whiskey.
We will toast him.
We will toast Chris Powell for his efforts, even though he's game warden or used to be or still is undercover. Who knows? Maybe that's BS. What's BS? Uh-oh. Leered.
Uh-oh. Who do we got here? Let's give him some publicity.
Is there going to be an inspiration speaker there? Yeah.
Yeah. Benny.
Us. Benny. He's going to get up with his spear.
Let's see if this works. Hold on. No.
What's BS, Mr. Leard?
Yeah. Explain yourself. We'll send you a link, and you can come on and talk to us.
Maybe he's mad because you don't have to be there to win.
Tell us what's BS.
Maybe the puppy. Puppy, you have to be there to win because you got to take it.
Unless you can.
I don't know. Let us just listen. We're stupid. Let us get through this. This was not planned. This is the worst organized. Diane Fair's doing all the organization.
She's doing everything.
We're just going to show up.
Yeah, she's doing everything.
Listen, and if you're an Eskimo, I got ice to sell you down there, just so you know.
And he could sell
clear ice. Yeah, it's ice. It's ice we took out of the ocean right on the border of Arizona. Good stuff. Toasting whiskey takes out all the alcohol, so
prevents hangovers. Yeah, so I don't know what. I've never even been to Young, Arizona, so I don't know anything about it.
And this whiskey cost me $100. It ain't cheap bottle whiskey.
Is it good? Have you tasted it yet?
I haven't opened it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to open it. If I open it, I'm going to fill it full of water and reseal it. No one knows I opened it.
Might be.
And then they'll say, Chris Powell's whiskey's weak.
It might be a collector's item one of these days.
I tried to order another one and they're sold out. I should have ordered 2 at that time. I didn't know they were going to sell out. I didn't know it was just going to be a 1 barrel thing.
Look at here. We got our resident Navajo here.
Hey.
What's up, Calvin?
What's going on?
Just sitting around shooting.
You guys yapping out to
our goal is 3 hours, and we're at 10 minutes till 3 hours. So
glad you came on,
Calvin. It's all about you.
Tell us a good story.
Complain and cry.
You got what?
I got 10 minutes to complain and cry.
Well, tell us your complaints. We've been getting a lot of them here lately.
Oh, yeah? Actually, nothing, to be honest with you. Just let's see what you guys were up to.
Look at he's got
an empty parking lot.
He's got a badge on.
I know. You working?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How do you say that first name right on there? What is that? Tasali?
Saley. Yep, Saley.
Saley.
Yep.
Do you speak Navajo, Calvin?
Oh yeah.
You're fluent?
Yep.
I'll be dang.
Yep.
Tell us something. I want to hear you talk.
I don't know, man. I don't know what
tell us those stupid hound dogs are trashing.
Trashy hound dogs.
How would you say that?
That's the next.
Meaning dogs. Dikis meaning stupid. The dogs are stupid.
That's the next name
That's
of my
probably
guide service.
that's probably about the closest translation you'll get to trashing.
Huh.
Yeah, because there's a lot of words that you guys don't have that, or I guess you have a lot of words that mean the same, mean different things, but it's just how you use it, right, in your language.
Yeah, just how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
The enunciation is different between like how you use your tongue, the placement of your tongue. Sometimes the words that you say, you have to have your tongue at the roof of your mouth, and other times the tongue, sits at the base of your mouth, and so on and so forth. So
Oh
it's
wow.
just.
What is there? I bet there's not many white boys that ever learned how to speak that language, is there?
Mm,
Handful.
Next to English, they a lot of people say that it's the next hardest language to learn, right behind English.
Oh, English is harder. I thought.
They
Well,
say English is a hard
That's what a
language
lot
to
of people
learn.
say. Yep.
Did
I
you got kids, Calvin?
yeah.
Yep, I got two of them.
Did you teach them Navajo?
No, we did. I don't. My wife doesn't know Navajo too because she wasn't really raised in the Navajo language portion.
Yeah.
Her parents are fluent, so I had full blown conversation in Navajo with her parents.
That's
But
cool.
her parents never talked Navajo to her, so she never picked it up. My parents talked Navajo to me growing up all my life, so then I picked it up. So
So why didn't you talk Navajo to your kids? Was it too hard with your wife not knowing Navajo?
Probably.
Like as a I kind of
well,
I know a few Navajos, and I kind of yell at them a little bit, like, man, you got to teach them because that language is kind of disappearing. They say there's what 3,000 languages, probably, but in the next 30 years, there's only going to be 600 languages because it's English is kind of taken over, I guess. But a lot of
yeah, I
languages
mean,
are being lost.
it's kind of hard to teach somebody new language because let's see, because
So
it's taught different on different
yeah,
sides of the mountain. Like
Oh.
my
well,
son is in Navajo preparatory boarding school right now, and they teach, and it's based a lot on Navajo cultures. So they teach Navajo language there. So when he's taught to say a certain word, he pronounces it different than how I would pronounce it
Okay.
because of
Yeah.
how they're.
So do
every
you?
And
time.
then it's meant different. It has a different meaning when he says it than versus when I say it.
So Calvin, when you're talking, let's say, to the next generation elder to you, is it the language? There's still that little bit of difference, and then if you talk to, let's say, a great grandfather, is that language even more? Like, is there a difference between
It
generations? Like you said, it changes a little bit, but
if 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 the generations is within the same age group or the same location geologically, it there's no difference. But if it's versus somebody on the east side of the Navajo reservation and then somebody else on the west side of the Navajo reservation, those are definitely going to
mm,
be different.
yeah.
I watched a show the other day, and they were talking about it was a black dude from uh, I forget where, but their language was just like clicks and clucks. I mean, just
Oh, those guys are. They just
yeah.
talk their
Oh
names. Oh, that's
man,
crazy.
it was
Yeah.
amazing to listen to them. I mean, and then
Yeah.
when I worked when I worked at mini farms and across through there, I always they had a radio station, a Navajo radio station.
Oh yeah.
I used to love to
Was that
listen to.
966 or
Yeah.
whatever? It is?
I just
Yeah,
remember driving through there.
960.
They were
Yeah.
talking, and then they'd say, Wrangler jeans, yeehaw. And it'd all be Navajo up until then, and then they'd say Wrangler jeans, yeehaw. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you can look up KTNN on the internet and stream it online. That's how I used to listen to it
I'll
when
be
I
dang.
was in South Korea. the Philippines, Guam, Japan, and then when I was in Afghanistan and Iraq, I would, if I could get online, I would go to KTNN 660, and you could listen to it live.
And find out what was happening back home, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I like to listen to it because it had kind of the old school stuff. Because I listen to like Sammy Largo. You know who that is? Does
I
the
don't.
Antelope song? He does. He does. He's a native guy. But it's funny is when you said boarding school. Every time I hear boarding school, I think of Vincent Craig. Wait, yeah, Vincent Craig. Vincent Craig, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So he sung a lot of them funny songs about boarding schools.
You been out with the hounds lately, Calvin?
No. I haven't been out with the hounds.
Still waiting.
There is no season. Well, it's just bobcat right now, but I really haven't been out. I've been still working on that honey-do list.
You making any progress?
And then it's almost complete. The problem, and then I took on another deal where I disassembled the rear and the front axles of the good old Taco, and I'm putting in. I was gonna put in. I have 373 gears in right now. I was gonna go to 526 gears, but then I was like, you know what? I still need to be able to drive.
I was gonna say it's
on
like
the
a
road,
410.
It's like a tractor.
Yeah, so then I
Yeah.
decided to go to what is it
Four-
not 410 today, 475.
Yeah.
I think it's like
I don't-
it's either 475
yeah.
or 480.
410s are good if you have the
that's why
right
it's like-
gearing in your tranny.
Mhm.
If you have
I
that
decided
granny
to do
gear.
that just so I can get some low end power back in that Tacoma, and
Yeah.
then it helps that it's a manual transmission too, so it's not going to be that much trouble on it. And then I'm putting in ARB front lockers in the front of that Tacoma. It's already got the electronic lockers in the rear, so I'm going to keep the electronic lockers and put ARB in the front. So I took on that task. So now I've got the truck, just sitting in the shop with the differentials all taken apart. So it's gonna, and then I ordered the gears and they're coming in. The front came in, but then the back came in, but it was the wrong one. They sent me the one that doesn't have the electronic rear lockers in it. So then I had to send it back, and now I'm waiting for them to resend the right one. So should be hopefully in the next week here. I should get the rear differentials back, and then be able to put the rear member back into the rear axle. So yeah, so
Be
Nice.
ready to roll
Busy.
then.
Yep. Yeah, 500 gear. You get in that
So,
5.
what do you all? So what are you guys all auctioning off down there?
I'm gonna auction. I got a female pup left over. I was gonna keep her, and I got a 3/4 sister to her already, and I thought, well, I'll go ahead and auction her off, and all the money goes to the Colorado fight deal. And I figured that try to do our part somewhat, and so she's I mean, she's one of those pups. She's a 1/8. Let's see, should be 1/8 running walker out of Cody King's stuff, and the rest of it out of well, she goes back to that jack dog that I have that came from Cody King, and then cross back on. Let me see if I can remember it right. But it all goes back to Al and the Larry Hendricks stuff and all that, that I have. And still kind of an experimental cross, but it's supposed to be good. On paper, you write it up, it looks good, but you never know.
Genetics.
Yeah,
Like
as
Benny
Benny says, genetics.
It has the printed. It has the printed okay.
And my grandson did all that stuff with it. What was that stuff they do where they roll them over on their back and?
Oh, and neurological.
Yeah, he got into that, and he did all that.
Tickle time.
Yeah, he got into that, and he did all that, and then he goes out there and he takes them and he hides dog food in the mesquites and out there in the pasture and the behind the place, and then he turns them loose and lets them go look for it. And he messes with them every single day. I mean, they're real well socialized, and
Nice.
so he puts them in the dog box and hauls them around, and that's because he works for me every day. He takes care of things for me because I have to get out of here from time to time. So, and he loves the dogs. He's good with dogs. I mean, he's really, really good with them. But so yeah, so Chris is going to get one of the male dogs, and Wayne, is it Wayne? Wayne Bisbee's getting. He's buying a male dog from me, and then I have that female left, and that's
Cool.
That's plenty. Like I said, I got some dogs out there I haven't done justice with. You know, this last year I just didn't get to go like I wanted to. I kind of had some health issues, and but I got plans this year, so I feel good.
Got your dog box?
You
got your mule?
Got a new mule. Got good pack mule. Got new dog box on my buggy. That's the way I'm going to hunt this desert this year. When I can't get anywhere else, I'm going to try to go better country. But to hunt the desert, you know, last couple of years, I kind of hard headed and I stuck to mainly just getting on my mule, you know, and making circles here and there. But we just don't have enough lions to really, you know, make that worthwhile. So I'm going to get in that. I know from hunting for the last 4 or 5 years here, I know where they cross, you know. And I'm just going to get in that buggy, and I can take off at 4 o'clock in the morning and hit all the good spots. And if there's nothing coming through, then there's nothing coming through. You know, don't have to worry about it. But I can cover a lot of country that way. Because I can drive right out of my yard here, and be down by the river, and then up behind Robledo, and then up in the Uvas, and then all these little desert mountain ranges. You know. And they got those big, dang near like. Go ahead.
So that's one good thing about the Navajo reservation. They haven't outlawed trail cameras yet.
Yeah.
So I've got some trail cameras that the cell phone trail cameras set up in the places where they usually cross. So they'll cross, then I'll get the message, and then I'll wait for a couple hours, maybe like 3-4 hours, and then take the dogs up there, the younger dogs, and then look at it, and then train them up that way.
Yeah, that's the best.
So that's one good thing over here.
Best thing for your dogs. I mean, you get your dogs on. So those guys down in Texas, I mean, that's, friends of mine, they get their dogs on a ton of lions, but they got a lot of cell phone cameras. They got a lot of them scattered out over those hills, but they catch a lot of lions too. But yeah, but I mean, you can put up regular cameras too, and run them, and still get a good idea. And then if you have those up, and then you hit the arroyos, where it's just almost like hunting in snow, because that sandy arroyo, you can find a track pretty easy in it. And if they're going anywhere, they've got to cross one of those arroyos. So, or a lot of times they just travel up them. There's one arroyo up here. Over the years, I've cut quite a few tracks, and what they're doing is they're coming out of these mountains and heading into another little set of desert hills, and they walk right up that arroyo. So, and it's just like hunting in the snow, really. I mean, you can see that track there. Biggest difference is I have a hard time aging it sometimes, telling how old it is.
Oh yeah.
But
especially in that ground.
I don't know. I mean, this past year we did it. I didn't cut as many lion tracks this past year, to be honest with you. The year before, I cut a lot. The year before that, I cut a lot. This past year was none. And then now, lately, I've been cutting a lot of tracks again. And I was like, well, where is it? I've been scratching my head, like, where are they going? Are they going way further down south, or are they going further east, but I don't know, it's just, or were they just passing through at the time?
I've heard, I don't,
It was a female in heat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody totally understands about how their patterns or how they move. And, like here, the old time trappers all told me, said, well, either you'll have lions here and you'll have them for, 4 or 5 months and then they'll be gone. They might not be back for 2 years. And then I had another guy tell me, and I don't know how true this is. He said, I know one thing. He said, when I cut tracks, he said every lion track I cut they're all that year. He said, it seems like they're all heading the same direction. So I don't know. I don't know how true that is. It just seemed like the ones I find are just wherever I find them. It's like you got to cut them just where you can see them. I mean, and that year before last, I mean, just in southern New Mexico in the desert, I caught 6 lions just in the desert. And now, some of them most of them were just plain old luck, really. I mean, that's all it was. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And then now I've been driving my buggy out quite a bit, driving and checking places and everything. I haven't seen any lion sign at all, nothing. And up north here, I went up here. They had that lion killed a doe, and I went up there and I trailed her around, but I couldn't catch her. But that was north it's about 50 or about 25 miles from right here. So, but I'm anxious. And there's other country I want to go see. I've never hunted over there where those guys catch all those lions by Capitan and Ruidoso and Cloudcroft, all that country over there. I want to kind of go learn that country and bump heads with those guys, and the Gila, I want to hunt more of the wilderness areas. There's not many people get into that wilderness and hunt it anymore. And that's why I got that mule and that pack mule, so I can get in there and at least, be able to stay a little bit. Before I get too old, before the ground gets too hard.
Got to get out.
Yeah, I understand.
So, that's the plan anyway. If I can stick to it.
Other than that, it's just there's still a couple leftover tags for the Navajo Nation, a couple of archery deer. I think there's a couple of muzzleloader tags. I think last time I checked, there's 5 fall bear tags still available. So that's pretty much about it for the news around here.
Do you know a man named Leo Fisher?
Leo Fisher, yep. He used to be a priest, correct?
Yep, he's a preacher.
A preacher. He is out of Gallup, New Mexico. His son is, what is his son's name? Zach Fisher? I think his son's name is Zach Fisher, yep.
They have some hounds, and I think he hunts around in that area somewhere, doesn't he?
Leo Fisher used to hunt around here a lot, and now he really doesn't. It's his son that comes in now and hunts majority of his dogs. Yeah, but his son comes out of, I believe it was Utah somewhere. Comes out from there, hunts for like 1-2 weekends, and then goes back up.
Okay. Cool. Guys, what else? I'm fading fast.
About it. On rendezvous.
Yeah.
Are you going to make it, Calvin?
I'll be there.
Cool.
Like I said, I already bought my steak dinner.
Well, good deal.
I just don't know. I just don't know if I'm bringing dogs or the mules, or if I'm bringing both of them, or I'm just bringing myself. I don't know. We'll see.
We all should bring our mules and make some big old circles in there while we're there.
Just turn all the dogs loose and go.
Just bring every dog you got.
Cause havoc on young Arizona. Dale Robertson will appreciate it, I promise. You might start all of our tents on fire when we're gone.
Yeah, all the local guys probably get a little upset, huh?
Yeah. There's a few undercovers over there. There's a few, let's ask Benny.
I'll just come hunt with you guys and your dogs. I'll bring a mule. and I'll bring my cameras and I'll video the hunts.
Yeah. That would be a good little trip. Like to throw old Jeremy on a mule and let him run around in that desert. His lungs are gonna dry up and shrivel up. About 80% humidity.
Louisiana hunting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. It'll be a shock.
Oh. Yeah.
Speaking of mules, that black mule crawled out of the corral the other day. She's out running around. I seen her today as I was coming into work. She was way out in the distance. She looked at me, just turned away from me, and kept on walking. I'm like, I'll deal with you tomorrow.
Oh,
crawled under it?
I made a mistake. It's a male dog that I'll be auctioning off.
Oh, you had a Wayne, like son of a gun.
Okay. Sorry, Wayne. I'm gonna have them. I'm gonna have 3 of them there. So.
Yep.
Well, let's see. Go. Well, I've got those 8 puppies. I'll bring down 1, and then if we don't auction it off, or we can try to auction it off, and if we don't auction it off, we'll see if we can find a young hunter that's looking for a pup.
There you go.
Guess.
That'd
we'll
be
do
good.
That. We'll try auction it off. If that doesn't work, then we'll find a young up and comer that would like to take on some.
How about that Peterson boy? He was looking for a dog, wasn't he? Or his dad said he couldn't have one. He was 14 years old, and he's down there by the Palencios.
Yeah, it don't matter. I mean, I'm up for it. I don't have any plans for these 8 dogs, these 8 puppies. Well, I'm going to keep 2 of them, and then the other 6 I need to figure out homes for them. So
we'll bring a couple. Maybe we'll try to auction a couple off or something. Maybe we'll just, and we'll make some posts on Facebook or something. How about that, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Say we're gonna have a Calvin Red House pup for auction, and
I tried to send the link. I thought I sent the link. It sent the link on I don't think it showed up. I didn't see it show up when I sent it for the Facebook.
I seen the one you posted on the Arizona Houndsman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. I posted that,
and that's how
Yeah. And I've been going through inviting people, so I'll keep posting it. I just got to keep posting it. People will start sharing it because you'll see people tag people in it. Everybody's welcome, even the pot guys.
Well, I'll share it here after we get done. I'll go on there and share it on my wall, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. If anybody wants to share it,
should circulate.
I got a donkey for Benny. I got a donkey that rides for Benny. We're gonna put him on a donkey.
It's got to be like a short, like maybe
it is
13 hand.
Oh no, this is a 12. Donkey. It's about 10 hands. It's a real donkey. Bought it for my kids to ride around.
You're gonna see him dragging his spears and be dragging as he's riding along.
Yep. No cartwheels off that one. All righty, Brett.
That's my trick. Guys,
I gotta get up at 2 a.m.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I take my dad to Bible study tomorrow morning.
Nice to be.
Calvin, thanks for stopping in. I wish you should have came on earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Next time, just
I had to go check.
Yeah, you got time.
His job.
Yeah, he had some hoodlums running around out there.
I had to do my job earlier. I was on picking on you guys about you repoing Benny's UT or his UTV and whatnot. I was on for a little bit, then I had to work was calling. So.
All right, sounds good, Calvin. Thank you. We'll see you next time, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Let's don't call any by names this time when I get off, okay?
Just turn it off.
Just turn it off. Turn the damn thing off.
Turn it off.